Show and tell time.
Another teddy bear? My teddy's name is Teddy Ruxpin. He talks, he tells stories, he...
4 batteries not included.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Yeah.
I really enjoy talking to people. I would like...
Teddy Ruxpin, the storytelling bear, comes with illustrated book and cassette from Worlds of Wonder.
Will the Grinch catch Santa's biggest day? How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And the Man of Ice Who Will Melt Your Heart. Frosty the Snowman. 2 Christmas classics Saturday.
Missing Colleen Osborne, now age 16, last seen Daytona Beach, Florida, March 15th, 1984. Call 800-843-5678.
Unless you go into politics.
Who are breaking hearts while learning all about the facts of life. Weekdays at 3 on TV 2.
The farmer has always been the heart of American agriculture. He still is. But agriculture itself has changed. Over 22 million people are a part of our nation's agricultural system. It's an industry on the move, offering over 200 challenging and diverse careers. Agriculture's tomorrow is bright. Planning to become a part of that tomorrow begins today with high school agriculture and the FFA. FFA, the future of American agriculture.
There's more than one way to help the Girl Scouts. Be a Girl Scout volunteer. Call the Magic Empire Council. Volunteer today.
You're watching KJRH, TV 2, Tulsa.
Kissy Fur will return after these messages. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Kissy Fur. Count Chocula cereal.
It's different today.
How about
some ghosts in your cereal?
Hooray! Ah, my cereal! It's haunted with ghosts. Whatever you do, don't open that box.
Chill out, Chuck. They're marshmallow ghosts.
It's true. Now there are ghosts. New white marshmallow ghost in Count Chocula, a ghostly part of this complete breakfast.
Sounds neat. Let's eat.
No, don't open that box.
But you can, if you dare.
We've got Lucky Corner with his Lucky Charms.
Oh, I'll make a sailboat and off I'll go with my Lucky Charms magic. Blow, wind, blow. Always after me crunchy oat cereal with a rainbow of marshmallow surprises. Pink hearts, orange stars, yellow moons, green clovers, root almonds, and pepper horseshoes. A magically delicious part of this complete breakfast.
I know how to get Lucky back.
I'm real embarrassed.
Trust the Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious.
It's Ken and new Jewel Secrets Barbie with 3 fabulous secrets.
We girls love lots of jewels to wear. Right, Barbie? Jewel Secrets Barbie.
Jewel Secrets.
Wow. Step out of that gown for a night on the town.
Jewel Secrets.
Just right for a disco night. Barbie has one more secret. Her ball gown is a purse. For you.
Jewel Secrets Barbie doll has 3 dazzling looks with matching play jewels. Ken dolls sold separately. New from Mattel.
I hope you're hungry. This burger's a monster.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
Hamburger. Beasley, it's Burger Source Runs. Quick.
Nice work.
Oh no, hot dogs.
I can't look.
Beasley, it's too quiet around here. Pterodactyls. It's now or never.
How's the hamburger?
Out of this world.
With the rich fun. That Cocoa Crisp is chocolatey taste. Sends you to this chocolatey place, to a land full of chocolate that goes snap, crackle, pop-a-lot. Let Cocoa Krispies fill your spoon and soon be gazing at a cocoa moon, sitting under a chocolate palm tree by the cocoa sea.
Kellogg's Cocoa Krispies, part of this complete breakfast.
Get the Cocoa Krispies taste. Leave a chocolatey smile on your face. Snap, crackle, pop. Cocoa Krispies. Yeah.
We were searching for fun fruit trees, and boy, were we surprised. We saw sun-kissed fun fruits change their shape by doing exercise. They changed to letters, numbers, and animal shapes. New sun-kissed fun fruits, letters, numbers, and animals are made with real fruit, so they're real fun to eat.
Letters, numbers,
animals! New Sunkist Fun Fruits.
Letter. Number. Animals.
Happy Days, weekdays at 9 on TV2.
This is wonderful.
No problems, no emergencies.
No Dr. Craig. And to celebrate, here's something for you and something for me.
Thanks. Wow, no pictures. Dr. Craig would be impressed.
It's very funny. Actually, you know, I love to read. Reading's exciting, enlightening, entertaining, and very relaxing.
You're absolutely right. Sunshine, fresh air, and a good book. We're in for a perfect day.
You can be a winner every week with Ben Matlock.
Next to injustice, I hate losing.
Matlock, Tuesdays at 7 on TV2.
You're watching KJRH, TV2, Tulsa.
We were searching for fun fruit trees, and boy, were we surprised. We saw sun-kissed fun fruits change their shape by doing exercise. They changed letters, numbers, and animal shapes. New sun-kissed fun fruits, letters, numbers, and animals are made with real fruit, so they're real fun to eat.
Letters. Numbers.
Animals! New sun-kissed fun fruits.
Letter. Number. Animals.
Barbie and the Rockers, their album's #1. Barbie and the Rockers, their stickers are lots of fun.
Like this Barbie sticker album's like totally awesome. Like all my friends trade their extra Barbie stickers so we can fill our albums faster.
Barbie and the Rockers, they play on center stage. Barbie and the
Rockers is 35 cents. A packet of 6 stickers is 25 cents. Each sold separately.
Stick with Panini.
Ronald McDonald and Friends in Garden Full of Fun.
Ronald, why are you always so busy in the garden?
Because something's always coming up.
Who won the vegetable race?
The lettuce. It won by a head. What's red and grows on a vine?
A tomato.
No, a cucumber with a sunburn.
I love vegetable jokes.
Yeah, they're always in good taste.
time for the great taste.
Salad at McDonald's. What could top that?
Salad dressing.
McDonald's.
Okay, everybody, come outside. Everybody ready for a wild, wet ride?
Slip, slip and slide. You can put it on your lawn. Turn the water on, then you run, 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 and you're sliding on your top. Slip, slip and slide. Slip, slip and slide.
It's a lot of fun to play when the spray goes all the way.
Slip, slip and slide.
Slip and Slide comes with plastic slide and fasteners from Whammo.
We girls love styling our long, luscious hair right. Super hair Barbie. First, twist it round our secret barrette. Push the tip, another flip, and then clip. Super hair Barbie. You're in. Any way we want to look. Our magic barrette is all it took. We girls can do anything. Right, Barbie?
Super hair Barbie doll with magic hair barrette and a glamorous jumpsuit. New from Mattel.
Who tried to bite a Chips Ahoy cookie without biting a chip? I'll reconstruct the crime. Snack time. Someone spies a plate full of Chips Ahoy cookies. He bites a chip. He tries again, but the chips are stacked against him.
Original, chewy, and now new striped Chips Ahoy.
I confess. I did it, and I'll do it again.
Did you bite a chip?
That Cocoa Krispies chocolatey taste sends you to this chocolatey place, to a land full of chocolate that goes snap, crackle, pop-a-lot. Let Cocoa Krispies fill your spoon and soon be gazing at a cocoa moon, sitting under a chocolate palm tree by the cocoa sea.
Kellogg's Cocoa Krispies, part of this complete breakfast.
Get that Cocoa Krispies taste. Leave a chocolatey smile on your face. Snap, crackle, pop. Cocoa Krispies. Yeah.
Twizzlers make me very happy. I love the way they taste so chewy. Twizzlers make me very happy.
We love the way they taste so fruity, so chewy, so happy and so juicy.
Twizzlers make me very happy.
Twizzlers make your mouth so very happy.
Oh, so happy.
Hey, Rose. Gosh darn bee wants to tempt old Black Bart's tummy.
With the taste of nuts and honey, it's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Know how to sing, bee.
I'm gonna tempt your tummy with the taste of nuts and honey. It's honey of the know.
You know, Black Bart Bezos ain't half bad.
Honey and nuts, huh?
Yoo-hoo!
Somebody tell you to stop singing, bee?
Oh, Bart.
He'll never find us out here.
My name's Ice Cream Jones. With cereal called Ice Cream Cone.
Never find us.
A crunchy new cereal for breakfast. With the great taste of ice cream cones.
Little cones and puffs that taste like vanilla ice cream cones or chocolate chip. The crunchy part of this nutritious breakfast.
He found us.
As sure as my name's Ice Cream Jones, I'll bring the great new taste of ice cream cones. New ice cream cone cereal.
Ronald McDonald and Friends in Garden Full of Fun.
Ronald, why are you always so busy in the garden?
Because something's always coming up.
Who won the vegetable race?
The lettuce. It won by a head. What's red and grows on a vine?
A tomato.
No, a cucumber with a sunburn.
I love vegetable jokes.
Yeah, they're always in good taste.
For the great taste.
Salad at McDonald's. What could top that?
Salad dressing.
It's a Kool-Aid Caper clue and a chance for you to help Kool-Aid Man find where Scorch is hiding with the key to the Kool-Aid vault.
Search high and low. Where I am, you won't know.
Surfenberry Beach. Well, I'm not bored. Any way you look at it, I'm having a ball. Man, Surfenberry Punch. Hey, I got it made in the shade, but I still don't have a clue.
But you do, so mark it on your map for a chance to win $100 in toys from Toys R Us.
Scorch!
Hey, Alan, here's a new Striped Chips Ahoy cookie. Bet you bite a stripe of fudge.
No way I bite a stripe.
Oh, yeah?
I can still handle it. Difficult, but not impossible.
One more stripe coming up.
Now that's sneaky.
Original, chewy, and now new Striped Chips Ahoy. 6 fudge stripes on the front and 1 tremendous stripe on the back.
Guess I bit a stripe.
Which of these leading soft drinks gives you nutrition with vitamin A?
You.
Vitamin B2?
You.
Vitamin C?
Yoo-hoo.
Vitamin D?
Yoo-hoo.
Niacin?
Yoo-hoo.
Calcium?
Yoo-hoo.
Potassium?
Yoo-hoo.
Which soft drink gives you all that, is 99% caffeine-free, and tastes delicious? Yoo-hoo. Great taste with nutrition. Yoo-hoo chocolate drink, another delicious product from Yoo-hoo.
Hey, kids. All sugar-free gums help you fight cavities, but Extra is the only leading sugar-free gum with NutraSweet that helps fight cavities and gives you extra long-lasting flavor. The only one. Extra sugar-free gum. Among sugar-free gums, Extra is unsurpassed in fighting cavities, and Extra is the only leading sugar-free gum with NutraSweet, and the only one with refreshing flavor that lasts extra long. Extra sugar-free gum with NutraSweet, the only leading sugar-free gum that fights cavities and lasts extra long.
There's a place called Moody Hollow where the Furskins live, and now they've come to Wendy's for you to give. That's right, Furskins have come to Wendy's. Dudley Furskin and his country friends, each at a special low price. At Wendy's, that is.
Oh no, Rodney's hungry. Do something. What would Mom do? A little snack, something hot, crisp, fast. Here you go, Rod. I'll write on microwave fries. Yum. And what do we do when you're finished? Eat slowly, Rodney.
I'm leaving. I'm going.
Guess there's no point baking Pillsbury's best cookies.
Oh, cookies?
Hot and fresh dough.
You'll never see me again.
So creamy smooth.
I mean it.
Your cookie dough. Oh.
I miss my plane.
Oh. Hot and fresh dough.
And now look for my new chocolate chip cookies.
AIM innovates a special plaque-fighting toothbrush. Straight bristles and uniquely slanted bristles feel exhilarating while they help remove plaque. AIM's Plaque Fighter. Fighting plaque never felt so good.
Get your spaghetti ready. Get ready for Ragu thick and hearty spaghetti sauce. our thickest, heartiest sauce ever. Now your spaghetti's ready. Ragu thick and hearty.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something, all right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on, we're adults here. You know what?
adults.
What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay. Next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip-flops. These are my flip-flops. Yeah, I really like my flip-flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip-flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know.
This channel is harsh reality.
Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl. Like
that is the best shit fucking
shopping
ever.
for the dresses with mommy. I was the, tomboy that liked playing with the
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. Oh, my goodness, y'all. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a doozy. This one's going to be a doozy, people. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be interesting. Because, man, so I go to the gym and I see that Dave is streaming this trial or this hearing. Now I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, okay? Because you guys know I like to do reactions and whatnot, and I'm gonna try to now. I'm gonna stream off Dave's stream. And I want to thank Dave McGrath and Jess, or well, I don't think Jess was there, but Unsafe Spaces for streaming this. And I hope they don't mind. But just in case, guys, please make sure to click on this link I just dropped and give it a like, just in case you missed it. If you missed Dave streaming this hearing, click on that and give it a like. But unfortunately, since it was not streamed anywhere else, and I guess it was like a Zoom thing, I don't have a direct site to pick it up off of. So I'm gonna have to just snipe Dave. Sorry, Dave, but I love you, buddy, and I appreciate you for putting this up. And I'm going to and I was gonna use the Young Jerks possibly too, because he streamed it too. Mike did, but the thing was is he didn't get the whole thing, it didn't seem like. So I want to make sure to get the whole thing. Canton Community, I checked that, but I guess they were streaming it live, but I can't replay it, looks like. So, but I did check the Canton Community thing. I know I did. But yeah. Shut up, Jerry. So guys, I gotta thank you guys, and Cherry as well. I gotta thank all you guys who recommended the Kong toy for Clubber. He's very calm, very quiet, and very occupied right now, because I stuffed that shit with this whatever the fuck it is. And yeah, he is fixated on this thing. It's fantastic. Clubber is absolutely and totally occupied. So yeah, fun stuff. Good boy, baby boy. Yeah, so I don't think he's gonna hop up here anytime soon. He is mesmerized right now. So awesome. So shout out to Kong Toys, Kong Dog Toys. Give me money. No, I'm just kidding. So anyways, we're gonna definitely go over this thing. I gotta tell you, while I was watching this, I was fascinated. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm at the gym. I want to listen to some music. So I listened to some music and I said, I'll just go over it later. So, dude, Nancy Berry, you got here too late. I totally did the woo. I absolutely did that shit. So you got here too late. Okay. But yeah, I totally did that. Well, I'm not stealing it from him, but I mean, if you guys would be so kind as to click on the link I just dropped and give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to Dave's channel if you're to Dave McGrath Unsafe Spaces. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. But yeah, things are gonna get interesting in here, bro. Because, dude, I couldn't believe my fucking ears, honestly. But at the same time, I could. You know what I mean? Like, at the same time, I kind of could, you know? So let's go ahead and take a listen. But before I do that, let me set this up. So today was the hearing. If you guys remember, yesterday, Ken Mello, he filed a motion to basically have a government appointed or a Commonwealth appointed person to sit in with Bradle and Turtle Boy on their conversations, whether they be on the phone or in person, which, in my opinion, I'm not an attorney, but I feel like it is an absolute attempt to violate his attorney-client privilege. I just don't see how he could possibly get away with that. I can't imagine a judge putting their own career on the line that would approve of this. It's insane. It's insane. Okay? It's crazy that this dude thinks that, he's brazen enough to do this. It's pretty mind-blowing, actually. And on top of that, he also filed a motion, and in this motion, the same motion, but in this motion, he accuses Bradle of lying and saying, and basically just attacking Bradle, which is really weird. So he accuses Bradle of lying and claiming that this person, Jennifer Altman, is a co-conspirator along with Turtle Boy and Bradle to intimidate witnesses further, and this Courtney person as well, to intimidate witnesses, because Turtle Boy is just a relentless witness intimidator, apparently. So this is just one. I don't see how it's anything other than just another attempt to shut Turtle Boy up. He wants to take away any of the tech that the jail provides. And it's fascinating to me that he thinks that this is, that's a jail thing. I don't really know how that's going to work out. But Turtle Boy is doing just fine from behind bars, and still writing his blogs, and his YouTube channel is still doing fine. We went over the analytics of that yesterday, and his YouTube channel is doing just fine. And this must really chap Mello's ass. So the bottom line here is I just don't. I went over the motion yesterday. If you missed yesterday's live stream, just watch yesterday's live stream. I'm not going to go over it again. But, well, you know what? Maybe I will. Let me just do that real quick. Honestly, because this is just killing me right here, bro. This is just killing me right here. Hold on. I gotta find it. All right. Almost there, folks. Almost there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read this again. Now comes, this is the Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions. Okay, now this is what this court hearing that we're about to watch is all about. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions, and I can't see chat, so I apologize if I miss any important comments or any super chats or any new members. I apologize for that in advance. Now comes the Commonwealth and respectfully moves this honorable court to issue remedial orders relative to the defendant's outside communications from the Norfolk County Jail and or any jail facility at which the defendant is held during the pendency of this matter. And that the defendant's counsel of record, Timothy J. Bradel, be ordered to pay monetary sanctions to the court in the amount of $10,000 due to counsel's egregious conduct as set forth below, and his willful and intentional violation of the attorney's oath of office, wherein he swore to do no falsehood, as required pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 221, Section 38. As grounds, therefore, the Commonwealth states the following. 1. On December 23rd, 2023, the defendant was arraigned in this matter, being Aiden Carney, also being known as Turtle Boy, this court, and was released with bail warnings. 2. On December 26, 2023, the defendant was arraigned on new charges of intimidation of a witness and assault and battery on a family or household member in the Dedham District Court, docket number blah, 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 relative to an incident that occurred on December 24th, 2023. Following a hearing on that date, the court McCollum J, acting pursuant to GL 276 Section 58, determined inter alia that the defendant poses a danger to the community and is unable to comply with his conditions of release, and revoked the defendant's bail in the Superior Court matters. I love that. Unable to comply. The defendant was then remanded to Norfolk County Jail. Defendants held in custody at the Norfolk County Jail are generally afforded the privilege of communicating with parties outside of the jail by use of tablets, telephones, and or other electronic devices provided by the jail. All such communications are recorded and subject to monitoring, as the case may be, for security reasons by jail officials or a contracted outside vendor, except for communications and telephone calls between defendants and their respective attorneys, which are neither monitored nor recorded. On December 28th, 2023, Attorney Timothy J. Bradel, the defendant's counsel of record in this matter, placed a telephone call to Captain Stephen Linsky of the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office Investigative Unit and left the following voicemail. Hey, Captain Linsky, it's Attorney Tim Bradel again, calling about Aiden Carney. Phone numbers for the legal team here. There's a couple more. I'll just give them to you, and you can call me back if you need anything else. Jennifer Altman, ALTMAN, blah, 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 blah. She's an attorney, emphasis added, and she's an attorney is in all caps and bold lettering. Courtney Healy, paralegal. My numbers are blank, blank, blank. So I'm Tim Bradel. My numbers are blah, 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 blah. And my cell is also blah, 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 blah. Would really appreciate you putting them on as well. Thank you so much. And please give me a call to confirm that last cell number I just gave you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Now, I find that interesting because I wonder why, before I read the rest of this, I wonder why Ken Mello thinks that he can use Turtle Boy sharing phone numbers as evidence to prove his case of harassment, and yet Ken Mello can do this without redacting these phone numbers. I mean, it's not, their phone numbers are not necessary to the case. He can absolutely redact them when filing this motion. So why would he? I mean, he knows this, right? Because I'd have to say that this is intentional. I would say that this is intentional only because since he's aware that this is an issue, since he's aware that this is a high-profile case, since he's aware that Turtle Boy has a lot of people that hate him, which in turn makes Timothy Bradle hated by those same people for the most part, well, giving out his personal information in this motion would be considered, in my opinion, based on Ken Mello's own standards, harassment. Right? Now, it's not illegal to dox someone, but it's definitely unprofessional to do that to a brother in the law. I would think so. At least I would assume so. But that's just my opinion. I'll go on. 6. On the following morning, December, hold on. Sorry. See correspondence dated January 12th, 2024 from Captain Linsky at ADS William Castile attached hereto. Oh, wait. No strays. Thank you. Are we sure Bradle is a good attorney? Turtle Boy has already filmed a full season of A&E's 60 Days In. Well, here's the thing. And I appreciate your super chat and I appreciate your opinion. But I got to tell you, since none of us are attorneys, I don't think that it's fair to judge Timothy Bradle on his abilities in being an attorney. I think that that would be up to Turtle Boy, since Turtle Boy is the one paying him. And Turtle Boy has trusted this man with his case and is paying him to represent him in this case or in these cases. I think it's fair to give Timothy Bradle as much of a chance as Turtle Boy is willing to give him. So I don't think it's our place to criticize Tim Bradle and his abilities in representing Turtle Boy effectively and efficiently. So that's just my opinion. Dude, what happened to your Kong toy, bro? This is not going to work out. I'm sorry. This is not going to work. So that's how I feel about Tim Bradle so far. Not my place, not your place, unless you are an attorney, to make a logical assessment of how good of an attorney Tim Bradle is, considering what he's doing. And I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm just saying, if we are going to apply logic, no, Clubber, no. If we are going to apply logic to every other aspect of this case and any other connecting case, such as John O'Keefe's case, for instance, especially, well, I mean, I think it's fair to apply logic to whether or not we think Tim Bradle is a competent attorney. And that starts with whether or not we're qualified to determine whether or not Tim Bradle is a qualified attorney. Now, considering his track record, I'd say he is a good attorney. Considering Ken Mello's track record, I would say he's not a good attorney. See, we have all of this evidence to indicate that Ken Mello's not a good attorney. We don't have any real evidence to indicate that Bradle is not a good attorney, is basically the bottom line there. So number 6, on the following morning, December 29th, 2023, Captain Linsky called Attorney Bradle to confirm that he had entered the requested phone numbers as privileged legal unrecorded call numbers in the instructional phone system. Number 7, at all times relevant hereto, Attorney Bradle was aware that Jennifer Altman was not and has never been an attorney. In fact, Jennifer Altman is widely known to be a follower and minion of the defendant, who publishes numerous blogs under various pseudonyms, including Turtle Boy, known as a Turtle Writer. Altman is also an administrator of one or more Facebook pages and or internet blogs belonging to or created by the defendant. Number 8, over 60 unrecorded privileged telephone calls were held between the defendant and Altman during the period of December 28th of 2023 and January 12th, 2024, before it was discovered that Jennifer Altman was not an attorney and that Attorney Bradle had blatantly lied to jail officials regarding her status. Now, we went over some screenshots that I believe are genuine. I happen to know for a fact they're genuine at this point. That were between that was a text thread between Bradel and Jennifer Altman. And of course, there's a bit of an argument there, a little bit of panic that I'm detecting when I read those. And I see Jennifer Altman is saying something to the effect as, "I told you twice that I'm not an attorney." And he simply states that he made a mistake and he feels bad and he apologizes. But it was an honest mistake, as I'm quoting him as far as what he said. Now, number 9, it is readily evident that Attorney Bradel, the defendant, and Jennifer Altman conspired to circumvent the rules and regulations of the Norfolk County Jail pertaining to outside communications and privileged attorney-client communications. Number 10, the Commonwealth contends that Attorney Bradel's conduct constitutes an outrageous and egregious violation of professional ethics and was designed to afford the defendant the means to communicate with his followers and to continue to vicariously harass and intimidate, and to direct his turtle riders to intimidate and harass his victims directly and or indirectly via the internet and possibly by other means. Number 11, the Commonwealth further contends that the defendant, Attorney Bradel, and the defendant's followers have demonstrated by their extraordinary and seemingly unprecedented dishonest actions that they are likely in the future to devise and employ any scheme possible to circumvent the restrictions on the defendant's communications and to enable the defendant to engage in further intimidation of witnesses and other parties while he is being held in jail. Accordingly, the Commonwealth moves this honorable court take whatever actions the court deems appropriate and to issue the following remedial orders in this matter. Thank you so much, EL444. Welcome to Logic. I appreciate it. Oh, this is just too much fun. Accordingly, the Commonwealth moves this honorable court to take whatever actions in the court deems the court deems appropriate and to issue the following remedial orders in this matter. 1, that the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office be ordered to revoke the defendant's privilege of communicating with parties other than the counsel of record via tablet, telephone, or other electronic means until further order of the court. Number 2, that the court appoint an independent attorney or master who will only report to the court to monitor all communications between the defendant and Attorney Bradel to ensure that Attorney Bradel is not making his telephone available to third parties or is not engaging in communications with the defendant that will be transmitted to third parties in yet another attempt to circumvent the security restrictions identified above. The Commonwealth acknowledges that this request is extraordinary and perhaps unprecedented, but states that Attorney Bradel has proven that he will likely attempt to continue to engage in similar unethical practices in the future. Number 3, that Attorney Timothy J. Bradel be ordered to pay monetary sanctions to the court in the amount of $10,000. Number 4, the court issue such further orders as the court deems reasonable and necessary, and that the court report this matter to any and all authorities that the court finds appropriate for further action of or investigation. What in the fuck was Morrissey thinking, bro? What was Morrissey thinking when he fucking appointed this guy? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Because I find that shit fascinating. Like, I find that shit fascinating. Now let's move on to the hearing that addresses this motion that we just read, this this farce of the law. Again, make sure to click on this link that I'm dropping in the chat right now and give this video a like, please.
All right, please.
Thank you very much, officer. Thank you, everyone. And good afternoon, Mr. Clerk.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is 23 CR 313, the Commonwealth versus Aiden Kearney. Can I have counsel identify themselves starting with the Commonwealth?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kenneth Mello for the Commonwealth.
Special Prosecutor Mello, welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What's up, Paul?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Timothy Bradle on behalf of Aiden Carney.
Mr. Bradle, welcome.
Thank
Is it Kearney?
Carney.
Carney.
Like the honeymooners. Art Carney.
Mr. Carney, can you hear everybody, sir?
I can.
All right. Let me briefly see counsel at sidebar.
All right, guys. It looks like we're having some maybe some sound issues from there. So all I'm hearing is a beeping. Oh, it's my pleasure to do it, guys. I'm just going to be in and out. I'm doing some stuff. So if somebody out there if I'm not here and it goes off or something, send me a message. I'll come over. And it looks like they're doing sidebar right now, so they mute that.
The first motion is a Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions. The second is the motion to strike the Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions, and a cross motion for sanctions, and in order to show cause why Commonwealth counsel should not be disqualified. I have read everything, so let me first ask you some factual questions. Okay. Number one.
All right. So I love that. I love that. So right now the judge is like, I've read everything. I've read it all. Let's get through this shit.
Number one, can either of you tell me what your understanding is regarding the jail rules, in particular, whether only counsel's calls, counsel being attorneys, calls are unmonitored, or also paralegals and investigators?
Your Honor, my understanding, and I'll preface it by saying I have William Castile from the jail. He's here by way of summons to address that matter. My understanding is it's only attorneys, Your Honor.
Okay, is that your understanding too, Attorney Bradle?
Your Honor, I didn't have any particular understanding. That's why I was depending on the jail to make the decision for me. And that's why I said who was who and let them decide.
Okay. Second question is, do you have any understanding about the jail rules regarding the length or number of calls that are not to counsel by persons being held in the jail?
I do not, Your Honor. I understand it's a privilege that can be controlled by the jail authorities.
All right. Any different view?
Now,
no,
listen
Your Honor, I
to
don't
the
know anything
language.
About the number of calls.
Now, remember what I said yesterday. Listen to the language that Ken uses, that Ken Mello uses, okay? The language is very, like, he's determined. If you listen to the language, you can kind of get an idea of what his objective here is. And he simply wants to silence Turtle Boy. Clearly, he wants to silence him. He doesn't want to stop intimidation of witnesses because he can't intimidate witnesses from jail. It can't be done. I mean, he's merely saying that once I get out of here, I'm going to be even louder. That is the worst thing that this dude has said that I've heard. That once I get out of here, I'm going to be even louder. Any restrictions that I have that are keeping me quiet, they're only temporary. But We went over everything. We don't see. I mean, how can you intimidate? You're going to intimidate cops? I mean, the witnesses in this case are cops. Oh my goodness. L444 gifted 10 memberships. Wow, thank you. Let's see what we got here. Captain Skidmarks. Captain Skidmarks, you win handle of the day. I like things simple, you know. I like them simple. So Captain Skidmarks, Capital what? Bobby Swain, Becky G, Jackie K, Ariel, Brendan Pavao, Chris K, the Boxer Brief. I don't know, man. That's pretty good too. I'm gonna give that one a round of applause as well. Because it's not a Boxer Brief, it's the Boxer Brief, folks. Just you gotta know. You gotta understand. Kate was also gifted a membership. Thank you guys. Thank you, L444, so much. And congrats, guys, who got memberships. I'll be doing a members only stream soon. Don't worry about that. And I appreciate you very much. So yeah, I don't see this Ken Mello dude is killing me right now, bro. Like, it's clear that he just wants to shut Turtle Boy up. That's all I'm hearing.
Is there any court order in this case addressing Mr. Carney's ability to continue to put information out to the public?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Attorney Bradel?
No, Your Honor.
Let me hear that one more time.
Is there to the ability to continue case?
Out the number of calls.
Is there any court order in this case addressing Mr. Carney's ability to continue to put information out to the public?
Okay, now you see what the judge is doing here, right? Because Mello's so fucking stupid that he didn't file any motion like that, because he knows that if he files a motion stating we don't want him saying anything that's going to be released out into the public, well, that would be impeding on his First Amendment rights. So she's saying, is there any order saying that he shouldn't be allowed to do this? And of course, Ken Mello's like, no, there isn't. Okay. So this judge isn't fucking around. This is what I like about her so far. She seems to be, she seems to smell the shit that's going on here and is not playing the game.
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Attorney Bradel?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there anything about what you have?
Actually, Judge, I want to just be very careful. So there's a restraining order matter. That's a civil matter that in paragraph 14 of that matter, the order is, and I'm just paraphrasing it here, but it's just that he not disseminate confidential DCF documents or court documents, I believe it says. So there's something to that effect.
And that is not in relation to this case,
Correct.
but in relation to another case.
Restraining order matter out of Dedham District Court.
All right. So no court order in this case.
Correct.
All right. So with that sort of factual underpinning, I'll hear from you, Special Prosecutor Mello, and then I'll hear from you, Attorney Bradel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'd like to preface my remarks by saying it gives me no pleasure to be here. In my 40 years of practice, this is the first time I've ever sought sanctions against a fellow attorney. I believe that the actions in this matter, Your Honor, however, are so egregious that
see, now that statement right there, that statement
by the court, both with practices. I'd like to preface my
Mello, and then I'll hear from you, Attorney Bradel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This statement right here tells me that this dude knows exactly how shitty what he's doing is. He is perfectly aware. He's perfectly aware of what he's doing and how unethical it is. And he thinks that by saying it gives me no pleasure, because he accused Bradle of a crime without any actual evidence of committing a crime. This is a fellow attorney. This is his brother in the law, right? So, let's listen to that statement.
Your Honor, I'd like to preface my remarks by saying it gives me no pleasure to be here. In my 40 years of practice, this is the first time I've ever sought sanctions against a fellow attorney. I believe that the...
Now, remember, folks, 40 years of practice, 40 years of practice, and not one review online about this guy. The guy's a ghost. Not one review online. In 40 years of practice, this guy has been a lawyer for almost as long as I've been alive. All of my hair is gray. This guy has been a lawyer for almost as long as I have been on this planet. Think about that.
Actions in this matter, Your Honor, however, are so egregious that it requires action by the court, both with respect to the defendant and with respect to the defendant's counsel. We are seeking, Judge, some limitations on the defendant's communications with the outside world from where he is now. And I understand that the jail can impose those unilaterally if it desires to defend counsel. We are seeking, Judge, some limitations on the defendant's communications with the outside world from where he is now. And I understand
you saw Turtle Boy right there. Now I'm going to rewind stuff a lot, guys. So just fair warning here. I want to be very clear real quick before I continue. The advantage that I have of playing something that's already happened that isn't live, such as a court hearing, is I don't have to be quiet. I can pause it, and I'm going to add commentary, and I'm going to rewind and things like that. So if this annoys you, this is not the channel for you. So just a heads up on that. But it's fascinating that he is saying that he wants to limit Turtle Boy's communication with the outside world. I mean, that's that sure sounds like wanting to shut him up to me. But watch Turtle Boy's face right there.
From where he is now. And I understand that the jail don's communications with the outside world.
Watch Turtle Boy.
From where he is now. And I understand that the jail can impose those unilaterally.
As soon as he said, limit Turtle Boy's communication with the outside world, Turtle Boy went, like, did you just fucking say that shit out loud? Okay. Okay.
To do so. But we would certainly seek to limit defendants' communications to counsel and defendants' children only.
Why?
Judge,
boom. Why? Like, you could tell she's annoyed with this shit already. She's like, okay, you better give me something. You better fucking give me something. Because what you just said was bold as fuck.
If I were to review, and I know it's virtually impossible to keep on top of it. The defendant has a number of blogs, websites, etc., where he has been actively communicating since his incarceration in the jail.
Right.
Well, that's why I asked you at the outset, Counselor, whether there was any court order preventing that particular conduct.
There is not, Judge. However,
okay. So the judge is like, so show me where it says that he can't do that. Since you're expressing this to me as it's a problem, show me where there's a court order that says that he can't do that.
What has happened is he's communicated, and in this particular instance, that's what brings us here, through individuals, particularly Courtney Haley and Jennifer Altman. He's communicated with them, and my understanding, as attorneys, Judge, in unmonitored phone calls. And I would like to correct one thing. We indicated in our motion, Judge, that there had been some 60 calls to Ms. Altman. That is not correct. I apologize. There have been 6 calls to Ms. Altman. My understanding also from talking to the
wow. How big of you, Mello, to correct the difference between I mean, you probably should have differentiated this fact when you wrote the motion. You know, confusing the two people, saying that in order to make the motion that you filed seem more dramatic and sell better, you know, like maybe misspeaking. Because I find that interesting. He's saying, well, I apologize on the court document that I wrote and why we're here today. I mixed up 2 people and said that he had 60 phone calls with a person who lied about being an attorney, that Bradel lied about being an attorney. Clever, please stop. So 60 calls versus 6 calls, that's a big deal. That's a big difference. And I find it interesting because that, to me, I'm gonna say is a blatant fucking lie, because I would think that an attorney who's going to go ahead and file a motion stating what are supposed to be facts, I'm not going to say that that's a mistake. I'm not going to take that like it's a mistake. I'm going to assume that a 40-year seasoned attorney who has 40 years of experience of filing motions knows to actually do a little research and get their facts straight when they state things that are supposed to be fact in a motion that you file in order to get the judge to make a ruling, especially if it's a ruling that might impede on that defendant's rights. Why wouldn't you be very, very careful about getting your facts straight before you file this motion? Because I'm going to assume an attorney with 40 years of experience is going to file this motion after having done such homework. And since I'm assuming that, I'm going to say that that's a blatant fucking lie on the motion and not a mistake. Because what stated the transcript of the phone call that took place between Bradel and one of the COs, somebody from the sheriff's department, in a message, in a voicemail, well, that comes off to me as a mistake, because it's not, it's misspeaking. It's not a court filing. It's not an official court document. It's not being used in order to impede on someone's First Amendment rights. So, but when Bradel did it, it was a crime. That's what's interesting to me. When Bradel did it, it was a crime. But when he stated something that was not factual at all in an official court document, well, it was just a mistake, right? Yeah. We see you, we see you, Mello, you slimy little piece of shit.
Jail authorities, over 80 calls to Ms. Healy, Courtney Healy, who was identified as a paralegal.
Right.
Neither Jennifer Altman is not an attorney. As a matter of fact, Judge, I have text messages here that were copied from the web where Ms. Altman actually posted her text messages back and forth to Attorney Bradel, where it says, I told you twice I'm not an attorney. Attorney Brady
All
was
right,
saying,
so let me pause you again.
I don't have a copy of this.
Okay,
Sorry.
hold on a quick second. Let me
"It's
pause
on
you
your
again.
phone."
So what you are telling me is that there were communications with these two individuals, neither of whom were attorneys,
Correct.
and that is in violation of the jail rules,
That's correct, Your Honor.
not of any court order.
Not of any court order.
And were they not identified as attorneys, there would be nothing that would prohibit Mr. Carney from communicating with them
But they would be monitored, Judge.
as a matter of the jail rules.
Correct. And that there's a huge significance there, Judge. Obviously, I'm certain Your Honor is aware, and I'm certainly Mr. Bradel is aware as to the purpose of monitoring such calls, particularly in a case such as this. We have a defendant who is now in jail for violating his terms and conditions of release for intimidating witnesses in a murder case. And this particular defendant, let me stop. This case is perhaps the most unusual that I believe anyone in this room has seen, anyone in this courtroom has seen, with respect to a murder case and respect to bloggers and followers of this blogger, with respect to the public protests, with respect to the internet activity, etc. There are countless people who are on Facebook, on YouTube, making videos, countless people who represent themselves to be bloggers, a number of people on X, formerly Twitter, commenting on this. And this has perhaps generated more communication, if you will, internet and otherwise, than any other case in the Commonwealth, perhaps in the last 25 years or more.
Okay, it is a case with a large public following and a lot of public discourse.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, with respect to the defendant, I believe it's already been established, certainly to a grand jury, and to the satisfaction of the court when his bail was revoked, that he has been harassing a number of witnesses.
That's what he's indicted
in this
for.
particular case. The defendant
dude.
has continued to do so.
Reaching, bro.
Just recently, in the past day or so, there was one individual who was the victim in the defendant's last arraignment. Defendant's online saying, I'm 100% innocent and she knows I am. And he names this individual.
She does know it.
And this individual has been the subject of tremendous attacks, if you will, on the internet, attacks as to her, on her character, etc., complaints.
She did that shit to herself, dude. Listen, I don't condone that shit. Okay? Like, if you don't have anything fucking better to do with your life than to fucking contact this woman on social media and start harassing her and talking shit to her, something fucking wrong with you. I'm saying that to any one of you assholes that decided to fucking call this woman. I mean, let the courts handle it. That shit's between Aiden and her. Seriously, like, grow up. Any of you people that are doing that shit, I don't get behind that shit at all. But the fact is she made herself available to this. This is a fact. Okay? She absolutely decided to falsely accuse, and yes, I'm accusing her of being a fucking liar, to falsely accuse him of domestic violence when we heard a recording that was quite to the contrary. We also know the fact that because she admitted it in open court, that she was contacted by Tully and Mello and met up with them just before this so-called incident took place, which did not go the way that she claimed it went, which we have evidence to dictate that it did not go the way that she claimed it went. We have evidence of this. And so what's going to happen is you're going to get idiots who, when you do something like this, you're going to get idiots who are angry and justifiably somewhat justifiably angry. I don't get angry about these things because, I mean, does it bother me? Sure, but not enough to fucking want to like contact this woman and be like, what is wrong with you, you bitch? You're crazy if you're doing that. You're insane if you're doing that. Something's wrong with you. Grow up. But
She had to know that she was going to be subject to this. I mean, the first thing this woman does, the first thing she does is as soon as she breaks up with him, she aligns herself with the one person on the internet that is obsessed with destroying him, with destroying his image and his livelihood. And when I say obsessed, that is not an exaggeration. This person who is referred to so affectionately as crusty panties is absolutely obsessed, because I've seen it with my own eyes. This woman spends all of her free time, and she has a lot of it, online trashing this guy and spreading rumors about him. And the first thing that this woman who's a so-called victim of his, before any of this takes place, she breaks up with him, or they break up, and she goes and aligns herself with this person. Of course, Turtle Boy is going to see this as an attack. He's going to see this action as being malicious in some way, shape, or form. So he's going to act on the defense. Now, this is very interesting to me too, because I have to make a point here. I've been accused of being a sympathizer to people who do revenge porn. No, because here's the thing. Remember yesterday I went over this dickhead, Morbid, right? I'm gonna go off a little track here, but I promise you that there's a point here. Now, I was a victim of this. The details I went over before. I'm not going to get into those details again. And because of this, I thought about my options. I thought, well, okay, I can file criminal charges. But the thing is if I were to file criminal charges against this person, well, that would make my address public record. So I chose it's not worth it. But I couldn't just take this shit lying down either. So I decided to take the money out of his pocket. I decided to cut off his means of making money via YouTube. That I'm satisfied with. To me, that's perfectly fine retribution. But the problem is when this person is threatening him and saying that she's going to lie and she's going to destroy him and say that she's going to do these things, and that she is lining up with his biggest online nemesis. She's going to align herself with them, and also the people who are legally using the law and weaponizing the law to try to destroy him and keep him locked up and silence him, when she is admittedly cooperating with them in order to do this. Well, then he threatens porn revenge, which is not illegal in Massachusetts. Now, the difference between the person who actually did this to me and the person who is accusing him of this is this person who did it to me actually did it. They actually did it. Turtle Boy hasn't done it. He threatened to do it in a sense of well, I'm going to figure out some way that I'm going to scare her to just, I don't know what else to do. She's attacking me and she's threatening to destroy me. And every bit of pillow talk that I've ever had with this person, she's going to take to somebody who is perfectly willing to make things up, embellish and twist and put out there in order to destroy me. So I'm going, in a panic, I'm going to threaten to do something that may humiliate her in return. Do I approve of this? No, but I understand it. When somebody is just so desperate, they're going to say things such as this. If that's all they have, in order to scare a person to not do something against them that is nefarious, which is lie, and align herself with people who are known to lie about him. So no, I do not condone porn revenge, but I understand why he threatened it. And if he had actually done it, we would be having a different conversation. But he didn't do it. So that's my stance on porn revenge and Turtle Boy's place in that.
Unfounded complaints have made to DCF, Alger, etc., and it's been actually brutal for this individual. And although he was incarcerated or jailed for intimidating her, he nonetheless puts her name out again. And a lot of these communications, we're not sure, we certainly can't know for certain what these unmonitored communications were. If they had been monitored, we would know. We'd be able to examine those as we are all others.
So let me make sure I understand. It's not that you believe that the Commonwealth needs to have access to the content of the communications because it would violate a court order presently in place, but because you have a suspicion that there may be some additional wrongful conduct taking place.
Yes, Your Honor, and if I may say, but for the fact that these people were on that list as identified as attorneys and paralegals, neither of which they are, we would be able to certainly monitor. The fact that they were placed on those lists raises every type of suspicion we could possibly have as to why the defendant and defendant's counsel didn't want their communications monitored, and that's a major concern of ours, Your Honor.
All right, I understand that argument.
Again, Mr. Bradley indicates he does not have copies of this. I imagine he has copies on his telephone.
Well, why don't you show him before you read them to me?
I would, Your Honor. Give me a moment, please.
Yeah, let me see that first. Hold on. I got to hear this last part again.
Court
Sorry
order
about that.
presently
I got
in place,
distracted.
but because you have a suspicion that there may be some additional wrongful conduct taking place.
Yes, Your Honor, and if I may say, but for the fact that these people were on that list as identified as attorneys and paralegals, neither of which they are, we would be able to certainly monitor. The fact that they were placed on those lists raises every type of suspicion we could possibly have as to why the defendant and defendant's counsel didn't want their communications monitored, and that's a major concern of ours.
Because it's called,
I understand that.
It's called attorney-client privilege, but you're fucking lying. You're saying that these people deliberately did not want these things. I mean, the fact that there was only these 6 phone calls taking place, and if they're colluding, because the guy's just too stupid to present his own fucking case. I mean, I gotta ask, how is a guy who is 40 years in as being an attorney, 40 years of practice, how can he be this bad at being an attorney? I mean, I don't understand that. Like, if I have 40 years experience as a detective, I'm going to be a pretty badass detective. If I have 40 years at being an attorney, I'm going to assume that I'm going to be a pretty badass attorney, unless I'm a fucking moron, right? 40 years, and this guy can't even present his own case properly. Because the reason why I'm getting to this point and saying that he is just plain stupid. Yes, Mello. Ken, hi, I'm talking to you. Because I know you're watching this. I know you are. You're an idiot. Because you actually expect this judge to believe that there was this planned, this conspiracy to have all of this witness intimidation and harassment with someone who at first you stated had 60 phone calls, but your case fell apart completely when you corrected yourself here in court and said, I'm sorry, it was somebody else, not the person that I said, but somebody else. Because if these people are so carefully and meticulously planning this method of harassing victims from behind a jail cell, from behind bars in a jail cell, well, then wouldn't the person with the 60 phone calls with him that were actually monitored, not unmonitored. Those were monitored, by the way. Wouldn't that reinforce your case a little bit better? Because I don't think that I could carefully plan a conspiracy to carefully intimidate witnesses and completely and totally destroy a murder case if in 6 phone calls. I think it would take at least 60. But seeing as it didn't happen in those 60 phone calls, it happened in the 6, since you corrected yourself after this motion that you lied on. Yes, I'm accusing you of lying, Ken Mello. You need to know better. There's no way, again, that I believe that somebody with 40 years experience could make such a mistake and not do their due diligence in collecting facts before they state them as fact in a court motion. So, Mello, your case is gone. You expect this judge now to believe that all this colluding and conspiring took place in a matter of 6 phone calls between him and somebody who he's barely talked to. Someone who, in a panic, took screenshots of her conversations with Bradel saying, what the fuck is going on here? And then emailed me going, this is what happened. And then I was like, yeah, I went over it. I don't think she had watched it yet. She was watching it as she was watching my stream as she was sending me the email. But I was like, no, I went over that. Don't worry. It's all good. So where's your case, dude? None of these people did anything wrong. None of these people did anything that was nefarious, that was underhanded. Nothing. So your case is gone, because how are these people supposed to meticulously and carefully plan this conspiracy in 6 phone calls? 6 phone calls, bro. That's it. Okay.
And that argument.
Again, Mr. Bradley indicates he does not have copies of this. I imagine he has copies on his telephone.
Well, why don't you show him before you read them to me?
I would, Your Honor. Bear with me a moment, please. I just have a moment, please. Do you have a copy? Oh, they're on your phone. The 2 or 3 calls, etc. Sorry, honest mistake.
You don't have to read them to him. Just show him the papers. Mr. Bradel can read them. Sorry, you can have a moment.
Is this the marked identification, please, Your Honor?
It can, Mr. Clerk.
So Bradel is looking, Gregor Smith, you're asking what's happening right now. What's happening right now is Bradel is reading the screenshots that we went over yesterday of the text messaging between Jennifer Altman and Tim Bradel, the ones that Jennifer posted on social media, but then later deleted. I guess somebody grabbed screenshots quickly enough. I know they did, because I got a hold of them. And well, Cherry got a hold of them and then sent them to me. But absolutely, this is this shows that she's saying, I'm not an attorney. He's trying to prove, since I mean, it's just very funny to me. So now he's focused on trying to prove to the judge that she's admitting that she's not an attorney. He already misspoke. He hasn't even had a chance to defend himself yet, and he's laying out all his cards. He's not even setting it up to where he can catch him on a lie. He's just showing, you know, Bradel, like, this is the text message thread. So it's very funny. Like, this guy's the worst lawyer I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you so much. All right, Attorney Mello, what is it that you want to apprise me of with respect to what's been marked A for ID?
Your Honor, going through those pages, Your Honor will note that the discussion between Ms. Altman and Attorney Bradel, Ms. Altman specifically states that she has told him twice she is not an attorney.
All right, so all of this goes to whether or not identifying her as an attorney with respect to unmonitored calls at the jails was an oversight, was negligent, or was intentional. It all goes to Mr. Bradel's understanding.
The Commonwealth suggests it was intentional, Your Honor.
Okay.
And we do so simply because of the very nature of this whole case, which is somewhat in terms of the system is worked up until this minute, where you have groups of people who have come on board, if you will, to intimidate witnesses and attempt, in essence, to confound the legal system as we have it here. There've already been comments.
I don't think the legal system has been confounded, Mr. Mello.
There were attempts, Your Honor.
All right.
The legal system has not been confounded, bro. Like, what are you talking about? If anybody is confounding the legal system, it's you. You're weaponizing the legal system in order to silence someone from doing their job and informing the public of facts. Now, does Turtle Boy add his opinions? Sure, but he's entitled to those opinions via the First Amendment. He is entitled to express those opinions via the First Amendment, via his right to free speech.
Let me ask you this. Is there any information that you are aware of that any of the communications that were publicly made by this defendant during the period that he has been incarcerated in the jail constitute new instances of harassment or intimidation?
We do, Your Honor.
All right. Isn't that a matter for the district attorney's office and the police?
Oops.
It is, Your Honor. However, there's a being entry.
Translation: why are you in my court dragging me into this shit? What do you think that I'm going to be able to do over a criminal matter where you failed to seek charges against him for it? If he's committing a crime, then why isn't he charged formally for them? If Bradel committed a crime, why isn't he being charged for it? Why are you dragging me and my court into your bullshit?
Going to be addressed next week on this. Additionally, what our concern is, judges, the method in which this was done. If Mr. Bradel is well aware, Judge, of the purpose for attorney phone calls. And I'm going to ask Your Honor to listen to the recording
Today,
brought by,
Junior!
Mr. Castile from the Sheriff's Department. He's well aware of the reason for this, and it's security, Judge. It's the biggest concern that jail officials have, security both within the institution and with respect to potential victims or witnesses involving the defendant's case. Here, we have a situation, Judge, where Mr. Bradel had been told, I'm not an attorney. He may have a letter from a law office in New York, but that individual is not an attorney in Massachusetts either. When Mr. Bradel says someone is a paralegal, we're assuming, I think it's fair for the jail officials to assume a paralegal in his firm, not someone who he thinks is a paralegal. And Courtney Healy has never had a day's worth of paralegal training, Your Honor. None.
Nobody gives a
and
fuck,
Ms. Altman
dude.
is not an attorney, Your Honor. but Mr. Bradel represented both of them to be so. And it is, at the very least, it's either intentional or at the very least extraordinarily unprofessional for Mr. Bradel to make those representations to court officials
All right,
without confirming them.
All right,
She's
Mello,
done.
I understand your position.
She's like, yeah, bro, I got it. Again, translation from the judge here. Translation from the judge.
Shut your fucking mouth! No problem, John. Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
As you know, the court has broad inherent powers to ensure the fair administration of justice. What I do not have is the power or the authority to sanction an attorney for what appear to be alleged violations of the rules of professional conduct. It seems to me that what you are raising is that Mr. Bradel, intentionally or not, and I will hear from you, Mr. Bradel, violated the rules of the jail, potentially.
The jail,
Correct?
bro, not the court.
And that
The
conduct
jail, bro.
ostensibly rises to the level of a violation of the rules of professional conduct.
Your Honor, I believe it does.
Okay.
But in this particular case, if I may, the court.
What I need you to focus in on is how that conduct.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we.
Suzanne said, the judge sprained her eyes because of Mello's lies and bullshit. Thank you, Suzanne. I agree. And that was request. Somebody asked for the dancing. Dave channeled. Yeah, that's a super chat dance, buddy. So super chats only for that. And I don't even do them every time. So, but there you go, Dave's channel. Thank you, Suzanne.
Has impacted the administration of justice. What I need you to focus in on is how that conduct has impacted the administration of justice, because what you are seeking are very broad, very
it's
unprecedented orders from this court.
It's unprecedented.
It has to be tied to the court's authority to protect.
It's unprecedented, Your Honor. I gotta say that it's unprecedented, Your Honor. Meaning that nobody has ever been fucking bold enough to try to pull this bullshit in an actual courtroom. So yeah, it's never been done. I'm a pioneer. No, bro, you're an idiot. There's a reason why nobody else would ever fucking do that, which I'm guessing as to why you are the 11th person that they tried to get that would be willing to try this bullshit. And you are the result of this insane attempt to get someone in court to try this madness in front of a judge, to actually present this bullshit in front of an actual judge. Nobody, fucking nobody would do that. Nobody, bro. Incredible.
Protect the administration of justice.
Your Honor, when the district court revoked the defendant's bail, the court did so with the full knowledge that the defendant's communications from the jail were going to be
shut the fuck up for a second, dude. Jamie gifted 5 memberships. Let me real quick. Remy, congrats. Muzzle 151, Freeloader Woodchuck, Angie M, Cat Psy Healer. Welcome, guys, and thank you so much, Jamie. Appreciate it. Defendant.
Be monitored. The court obviously found that there was another violation with respect to intimidation of a witness. And the court was satisfied to the degree that the court decided that the defendant should be held at the Norfolk County Jail. Again, the judge in the district court knew that there would be restrictions on the defendant's communications, that anything the defendant stated other than to an attorney, his attorneys.
Wait a second, homie. Let me see if I get this right. Let me see if I get this right.
there was another violation with respect to intimidation of a witness. And the court was satisfied to the degree that the court decided that the defendant should be held at the Norfolk County Jail.
It sounds like,
again, the judge in the district court knew that there would be restrictions on the defendant's communications, that anything the defendant stated other than to an attorney, his attorneys, would be monitored. And our suggestion to Your Honor is that was part and parcel of the reason that the court ordered his bail revoked, because there would be strict controls.
Anything said on...
Okay. No, that's not why his bail was revoked. His bail was revoked because he allegedly broke the law. That's a fucking lie. And so I rewinded that because it sure as shit sounded like you were trying to influence this judge based on a decision that a previous judge in a completely different courtroom made. And you're trying to say, well, this judge did it, so you should do it. That's a real great way to present your case, bro. Actually, it's not. But you're lying. There was nothing about that. There was nothing about his communications outside of court or outside from the jail to the outside world that had anything to do with his bail revoked. You're basically saying, well, we just assumed and we thought that his communications would be monitored. Everything would be monitored. And now we're realizing that it's not. We're realizing that his channel numbers are up on YouTube. He's still writing blogs from jail. And his livelihood, his wallet has not been hurt to the degree that we had hoped by locking him up. That's basically what you're telling the judge, not in so many words. And she's on to you.
Said on the record in that regard at the revocation hearing?
Nothing said in that regard directly.
In writing from the court in that regard?
Not specifically in that regard, Your Honor. However, it's part and parcel to the whole purpose of holding someone in jail, because very simply, the court was aware that those restrictions would be in place.
All right.
Mr. Bradle, obviously being the exception, as the attorney of record, would certainly have direct communications with Mr. Kearney. They would be unmonitored, and that was certainly the standard practice, and counsel would have no objection to that.
All right.
However, in this particular case, these people, both Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy, are well known among the, for lack of a better description, turtle rider community.
Whatever.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I mean, let's just be honest here. Like, oh no. Oh no.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Snake Devil, the abuser. Jen Altman said when she gets the 20K, she's going to donate it to the Innocence Project. She's not always rude. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Wendy Williams, thank you so much. The district judge never said that. Yeah, we know. We know. Thank you, Wendy Williams. Appreciate it. We're with you. We're with you, Wendy Williams.
What evidence do I have of that?
Let's see what she's asking.
The evidence, both Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy are well known among the, for lack of a better description, turtle rider community.
What evidence do I have?
Okay. Type of one, if you heard of both Jen Altman and Courtney, whatever her last name is, prior to yesterday. Type of two if you never heard of them until yesterday. Wow. There's a few ones. Mostly twos. Right. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that they're well known in the quote unquote turtle rider community. Look at Dave's face. Dave is just Dave's fucking killing me right now.
Do I have of that?
It's Judge. The evidence is all on the internet, and Mr. Bradle, and I obviously I can't bring the entire internet into you. It would be impossible. There's just so much out there, but
Evidence is usually brought into court and presented to the court.
I understand that, Your Honor. But what is common knowledge is not necessarily subject to evidence.
Look at
I can
Aiden.
tell Your Honor when the sun
look at Turtle Boy's face, bro.
set today, but I have no evidence of it until the sun sets.
Then it would not be in evidence.
I understand that, but if I may, Your Honor.
She's already annoyed as shit with this guy. If I may, Your Honor, I'm really thirsty and really
The fact is,
There's
Attorney
no-
Bradle has
There's no fact here, bro.
actively engaged in conversations with Miss Alton, with Miss Healy, and he's well aware because of his involvement in this case, just as I am, that these individuals were administrators on the defendant's various blogs, YouTube pages, Facebook pages, whatever. And I think it would be disingenuous for him to say anything other than that. He's been involved, I'm going to suggest, almost on a full-time basis with this case, and this case only since he filed his notice of appearance.
All right.
And that particular for that particular purpose, he knew who Miss Altman was. He knew who Miss Healy was. There's no doubt, and he misrepresented to be people who they were not.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Has this information been provided by you or anyone else from the Commonwealth to the sheriff that Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy are not attorneys?
The sheriff's office discovered that themselves, Judge.
Okay.
Judge, they discovered that from me when I spoke to them on the phone, and I told them that.
Okay.
That is a serious misstatement. I just
Okay.
want to
And
correct
what actions, to your knowledge, has the sheriff taken with that information?
I am not certain what they're going to be doing with it, Judge. We're waiting for today's hearing.
Well, what are the rules at the jail regarding whether non-attorneys can have conversations with persons held at the jail that are not monitored?
They're absolutely prohibited. Those
All right.
conversations are absolutely prohibited.
All right. Who is here from the jail?
William Castile?
All right. I think I need to understand two factual things, Attorney Bradle, before we go on, which is it the policy, rules, and procedures of the jail that only communications with attorneys are unmonitored? And I want to know about the limitations on other communications with other persons other than the fact that they are monitored. Length, duration. Okay? Any objection to my taking that evidence?
I don't have an objection. I just want to invite the court to keep in mind that the issue is what is my state of mind about what the rules are and what I can do and can't do, and what is disclosed and not disclosed. So,
I understand. There are also requests that I take some action vis-a-vis the jail, and so I want to understand what the rules over there are.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you, officer.
And Judge, just for the record, I had no notice that there was any witnesses being brought in.
I understand, and
that
it's
there was
not
an evidentiary hearing at all. And I think that's extremely unprofessional to ambush me with bringing a witness into the jail that I may have been able to have a conversation with before this.
I appreciate that.
Right. See, Bradle knows exactly what the fuck this is, and it's an absolute attack on him using the law to, this is Mello weaponizing the law against a fellow attorney and ambushing him with a witness that he didn't even know was going to be there. This is a clear example of Ken Mello weaponizing the law to his advantage. Yes, Cherry, if she does it in this chat, then absolutely. You know you can. I don't give a shit about super chats if somebody is a dirty fuck. So do what you got to do, Cherry. You're the managing moderator of this channel. So go ahead. Do whatever you got to do.
That I am going to inquire of this witness because I need that factual information. It is not an evidentiary hearing in the sense that it is going to be full-blown inquiry. Okay.
Sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the evidence of the court in the case now in hearing to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, can you just state your name for me?
Sure, it's William Castile.
And what is your role at the Norfolk County House of Corrections?
I'm an assistant deputy superintendent.
All right. Can you answer this question for me?
Sure.
What is the policy or rules or procedures at the jail regarding unmonitored phone calls? Are those limited only to attorneys, or does it include paralegals and or?
Yeah, it's just strictly to attorneys.
Strictly attorneys?
Yes.
Okay. So if an attorney identified a paralegal and a person at the jail communicated with that paralegal, they would be monitored conversations?
They would be, yes.
All right. And what limitations are there on non-attorney phone calls at the jail in terms of duration, time, number?
Sure. So it's 30-minute telephone calls. And the time, they have tablets now, which they can make phone calls, they can e-message, they can receive videos, they can receive photos, and the tablets pretty much all day.
So all day?
Till 10 o'clock at night.
Okay, all day access to the telephone?
Yes.
That is monitored?
Yes.
Okay, and the rule again at the jail is that only communications with attorneys are unmonitored?
Yes, our policy is CSD 482. I have a copy here if you'd like.
No, I will take your testimony. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I don't think I'm going to permit any further inquiry because those are just the facts that I needed to understand in connection with these motions. Thank you very much. All right. Attorney Mello, anything else you want to bring to my attention?
Your Honor, I was going to ask Mr. Castillo, while he's still here, if the court would grant permission for him just to play the recording of Attorney Bradel making his call to the jail, so Your Honor could actually hear it.
You mean the one that is in your motion?
Yes.
I do not need to hear that.
Right. I've got
Thank you, sir. All right. Anything else,
yeah,
then?
I've already got it, bro.
Well, one other quick, because Attorney Bradel made the comment, Judge, that he called the jail to take these people off the list. I would ask if that...
Hey, that's a mischaracterization that I called to take people off the list. I never did any such thing, Your Honor. I don't know what he's talking about.
That is.
So again, he's lying. How can you say that without proof?
Certainly my understanding.
Okay, so it's your understanding. It's your understanding, but you're sitting here and making this accusation in open court to a judge, accusing him of something, and you have no proof of it. And the person you're accusing, who is a fellow attorney, a brother in the law, you're accusing him, and he is denying, and you have no proofs. You have no proof behind your accusation. What a shocker.
All right. Both of you take a seat. Both of you. Sir, if you could retake the stand.
The judge is like, I'm getting to the bottom of this shit right now.
Did the folks at the jail learn at some point that Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy were not attorneys?
Yes.
And when did you learn that?
Or when did the jail learn that?
How did they learn that? That's what I want to know.
And has the jail taken steps with respect to phone calls between Mr. Carney and Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy?
Yes, we've removed them from the attorney privilege list.
Since January 11th?
January 11th, yes.
Okay. And how did you come to learn in particular that Ms. Altman was not an attorney?
Actually, I received a request from the Norfolk DA's office for Aidan Kearney's call detail log. I sent that over, I scanned it, emailed it, sent it over. A couple hours later, I received a call from one of the troopers stating that, I may want to take a look at my attorney client privilege telephone list in particular.
Whoa. 1 second here, folks.
Actually, I received a request from the Norfolk DA's office for Aiden Kearney's call detail log. I sent that over. I scanned it, emailed it, sent it over.
Okay, so from the DA's office, not Ken Mello, but from the DA's office. Okay, now this is fascinating right here.
Hours later, I received a call from one of the troopers stating that
one of the troopers, meaning a Massachusetts state police officer, meaning a Massachusetts state trooper. Why? Why are they calling to request who's on the list of attorneys and not attorneys? Why is there an interest from the Massachusetts state troopers? And why are they going out of their way to call to find out? Because it sounds like it sounds sure as shit like they are targeting Turtle Boy. This is the chain of events that's going on in my head here. Turtle Boy is blogging. Turtle Boy is calling my show. Turtle Boy has guest hosts running his show. Turtle Boy is posting on Twitter. And for some reason, all of a sudden, there's an interest as to who Turtle Boy has listed as attorneys. Who is calling him, and these phone calls are being unmonitored. Because it sounds to me like they are listening, the state troopers are listening to everything Turtle Boy is saying that is unmonitored. And then they're finding out that there are certain other unmonitored phone calls between Turtle Boy and Jen Altman. And then they try to find out whether or not she's an attorney because they're pissed that they can't hear the phone call. So,
I may want to take a look at my attorney client privilege telephone call list, in particular to inmate Kearney, offender Kearney, I should say.
Okay.
And that's what got the ball rolling.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, Attorney Mello, anything else you want to bring to my attention in connection with your motion?
Now, it wasn't like something happened. This is very interesting because it wasn't like something happened to spark this issue, to get this ball rolling. The only thing that happened was that the Massachusetts State Police, officers of the Massachusetts State Police, took it upon themselves to do a little digging to find out who Turtle Boy is talking to. Now, based on that, I'm not supposed to believe that the entire point of his arrest in the first place was to access his tech and find out who he's talking to when they seized his tech. I'm supposed to believe that that was not the objective in the first place. I'm supposed to believe that Turtle Boy is not in jail right now to A, silence him, and B, find out who he's communicating with and what is being said between him and whoever he's communicating with, no matter who they are. And now there's a motion filed to where they want access to what is being said between Turtle Boy and his attorney, which is protected under attorney-client privilege. Fascinating. Because it wasn't like here I am thinking that something happened in the jail, that there was an oversight, and the sheriff's department thought, okay, with the Norfolk County Sheriff's Department, we're like, oh, well, okay, well, we need to find out what's going on here. That's not what happened, though. A very similar thing took place. The DA's office contacted the jail, spoke to the sheriff's department, or the people who work for the sheriff's department in the jail, the corrections officers. And then the troopers followed up. Interesting. The troopers followed up. So there's a very similar, I'm feeling something very, very familiar here. Kind of like when Ken Mello called the Canton Police Department to report the Canton Nine picketing and protesting across the street from D&E Pizza, run by Chris Albert. It wasn't like the Canton police decided, hey, there's something wrong here. They're breaking the law. No, they were pressured by a special prosecutor when a law was recited to them, a law that is unconstitutional according to the First Amendment, a law that is unconstitutional. This was cited to those Canton police officers. And so they felt pressured after already feeling reluctant to even do a drive-by in the first place. They felt pressured to actually charge them by that man standing there.
Are you on the fact that it was discovered by the jail in the messages Your Honor has? I believe in that set. There's a note that Ms. Altman had told Attorney Bradle twice that she was not an attorney. Mr. Bradle asked the question, did you tell me that before or after I called the jail? Either way, he was aware that and he never called the jail to correct it once he found out.
This guy can't even present his case.
Your Honor, that
this guy filed this motion absolutely impulsively without thinking through how he was going to present it to a judge. Clearly, because he's talking in circles and not coming to a fucking point. He's just throwing shit at the wall, hoping that something sticks. And he's doing it to a judge. He has not put together a case to present to this judge. He filed a motion, and in that motion has misinformation, aka fucking lies. And then when presenting it to a judge, he can't even back it up. He can't even present the motion properly. He's fumbling over his words.
That is an attempt to circumvent the authority of the court to have Mr. Carney held in jail under the terms and conditions that the sheriff normally imposes on jailees.
All right, I appreciate that. Attorney Bradle.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. With respect to this assertion about...
I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you, officer.
Judge, with respect to this assertion about Ms. Altman, that conversation, those conversations when she told me she wasn't an attorney, we were just discussing who she was, and I was getting to know her about her role here. And she did tell me at the time that she wasn't an attorney. However, I didn't even remember that I mentioned this call. Now that it's under a microscope, of course, it's out there. But when I spoke with Ms. Altman about those issues, I was confused about, when this was. When do we talk about that? Because I knew I would never have said that to Captain Linsky on the phone if she told me that beforehand. So since then,
He has no recollection of this because it was a mistake. I don't even know when the fuck that happened. The Last Clam, welcome. Appreciate you. Welcome to Logic.
I have absolutely ascertained that those conversations were weeks later that she wasn't an attorney. She did tell me that, absolutely. But I didn't even remember that I mentioned that to Captain Linsky on that voicemail weeks prior that, she's an attorney, she's a paralegal. So more to the point, Judge, rather than what the jail's policy is, the issue here is what was the interactions? And all this is laid out in my affidavit, Judge, and in my motion. And that's exactly what happened. There's nothing here but an honest mistake.
Nothing but an honest mistake. Now let's recap for a second. The DA started this. the DA's office, not Mello, because Mello's a special prosecutor. He doesn't have to answer to the DA. He doesn't do what the DA tells him to do. He's a special prosecutor assigned to the case to handle this case however he sees fit. But yet it was the DA's office, Michael Morrissey's office, that started all of this inquiry into Turtle Boy's communications. Now, you expect me to believe, Ken Mello, that you don't take orders from the DA? That this was your decision to file this motion and not the DA's, when the DA is the one who started all of these inquiries on Turtle Boy's communications in jail, and then the Massachusetts state troopers followed up on it? Wouldn't that be the jurisdiction of the Norfolk County Sheriff's Department, since it's in jail and since it's their rules that are apparently being broken? Why are the Massachusetts state troopers so interested in something that is not their business to worry about? It's actually the Norfolk County Sheriff's Department. It's their jurisdiction. It's their domain. It's their area. So why is it that the Sheriff's Department aren't taking any actions in reprimanding Turtle Boy here, but you, special prosecutor, are taking these actions? After the DA's office began this inquiry, and then the Massachusetts state troopers followed up. Why is that? Why are you guys so interested in who Turtle Boy communicates with and what's being said? Because this is all about him breaking the rules of the jail, right? That's why we're here. Because Turtle Boy and Bradle broke the rules of the jail. But I don't see the Sheriff's Department, whose rules these belong to, whose rules are theirs to enforce. I don't see them taking any action here. I see you taking action after the Norfolk County DA's office began an inquiry and the Massachusetts state troopers followed up. And here we are with you filing a motion in court. Why is that? Because this is not about, in your motion, this is about them breaking the rules of the jail. This isn't about silencing Turtle Boy. This isn't about finding out who he's talking to. None of that. No. This isn't about violating his privacy or his attorney-client privilege. No, this is about breaking the rules of the jail, which is what this judge is focusing on and staying on point about. Like, you're giving yourself away. You're showing the world and this judge and every other judge in the future what your intentions are and what your motives are. You're absolutely showing the whole world, because you can't put the genie back in the bottle, homie. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't unring the bell. Because the fact of the matter is that this is not a Norfolk County DA thing. This is not a Massachusetts state trooper thing. This is a Norfolk County Sheriff's Department thing. And they don't seem to have any issue. They're not the ones taking any action here. You are. And what is your interest in that? What is your interest in something that is a Norfolk County Sheriff's Department's matter? Okay.
I was, at the time, I got 3 folks from the civil side of this thing where Ms. Dombrowski, and you have her letter there. She's working on the First Amendment aspects of this case. And the First Amendment aspects of this case were starting to arise, Your Honor. And so Mr. Carney arranged and Ms. Dombrowski arranged that I have 3 people to help me with the First Amendment issues. And after that, Mr. Carney got incarcerated on the bail revocation. And we had all been speaking, and they all speak with Mr. Carney. And so I'm not 100% familiar with the rules about attorneys or paralegals or investigators or who's allowed and who's not.
Well, we all now know, only attorneys.
Yeah, right. Certainly now we know. But at the time, my practice would be to just make sure my phone numbers are on the list. And you have the voicemail there that shows that I clearly stated that this one's a paralegal, this one's an attorney, and I was just mistaken about that she was
Thank you, Cherry.
Jack Thinkman. And I think I might have just conflated that or something, but it was just an honest statement. I've ever worked with on this case. And, you know, I just don't understand why or where Mr. Mello can stand up in front of the court and make a statement that Ms. Healy, for example, has never had any paralegal training. Like, are we going to really go into the issue of what the training is of these folks? I mean, Ms. Healy has taken college classes, just because he raised it. Ms. Healy's taking college classes for criminal justice, and she's amazing, and she's a terrific paralegal. In fact, I'm going to be hiring her for some of my CPCS murder cases to work as a paralegal.
Okay.
And I've actually got the ball rolling on that.
I think we're afield.
I'm sorry?
We're getting a little far afield.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to respond to the things that he raised, Your Honor. I'm
You
sorry.
don't need to respond to everything that he raised.
Okay.
I've read your papers. I understand your position, which is that it was an error on your part, that it was not intentional.
It was an absolute oversight, Your Honor. And at the time, I didn't know whether the fine points of their policy, whether it meant just lawyers or paralegals and investigators. And so you know, in that situation, you just do full disclosure. I said to them, Captain Linsky was very professional and helpful. And they said, you know, here's the people that are on our legal team. And a previous call, I believe I said it was Mark Geppetta, our investigator, and Ms. Dombrowski, the other lead counsel on the civil issues. And then on this call that's in counsel's filing, I said very clearly, Courtney Healy, paralegal, and again, Ms. Altman, I thought she was a lawyer. So I was not trying to deceive or hide anyone's status from anyone. I was putting it on the jail to do.
Can you imagine what Bradle's going through right now? Because it's not just the fact that Bradle has never sat there in a courtroom in a position that he's in right now to have to defend himself over these insane accusations. No lawyer has ever had to stand in court and defend themselves. Again, this is unprecedented. By the admission of Ken Mello, the person who filed this bullshit in the first place, by his own admission, this is unprecedented. So imagine Bradle right now and what he's dealing with. If he's stumbling over his words right now, he is right now trying to deal with something that he's never had to prepare for. They don't teach that shit in law school. It's never been done. They don't teach you how to handle that. It's never happened. So not only has he never been in this position before, no lawyer has ever been in his position before right now. That's insane. The fuck is going on with this Mello dude? Fucking crazy. I never seen anything like this.
Do whatever they were going to do. And so I received a message, and that's in my affidavit, Your Honor, the next day, that everybody was on the list. And I thought that was great, and that we were going to be able to strategize and
all right.
And
I
talk.
understand your position, Mr. Bradle. Attorney Mello, the first request that you have of me in your motion is that the Norfolk County Sheriff be ordered to revoke the defendant's privilege of communicating with parties other than his counsel of record. Given the testimony that I have heard today, you want to stop his ability to use the tablet or the telephone in all respects.
Other than his children and Attorney Bradle, yes, Your Honor.
And what power do I have to do that? Order the Sheriff's Department to limit his telephone privileges entirely.
The inherent authority of the court allows that, Your Honor. The court can certainly do that, issue that restriction.
And you know what this tells me? Again, I like to read between the lines, folks. You know, here at the Glare, I tell you guys, you got to use your eyes, right? Well, in using my eyes, what this all tells me is that they tried to tell the sheriff's department and the COs in the jail to stifle Turtle Boy, and they probably refused. They probably said, you can't make us do that. Well, then I'll get a court order to make you do that. Well, then I guess you're going to have to get a court order. Because why else would they try to go over the jail's head? Why else would they try to go over the sheriff's department's head? Why else would they abuse their power to try to undermine the Norfolk County Sheriff's Department? Why else would they do that? Unless the Norfolk County Sheriff's Department was like, well, it's our jail, dude. Like, you do your shit and we'll do ours. You know what I mean? Don't tell us how to run our jail. Don't tell us how to deal with our prisoners. He's in our custody right now, and we will deal with him how we see fit. So now Mello is trying to go over their head and talk to this judge, and this judge is sitting here going, why me? What do you think I can do? What do you think I could do? What do you think? What do you expect me to do?
But I thought your point was those would be monitored. All communications other than with counsel of record would be monitored.
They would be, Your Honor. However, what's come up.
The fact that she's even entertaining this shit is mind-blowing to me. The fact that, I mean, and I'm not saying that against her. I'm saying this to me is a fair judge. This is a good judge who's like, all right, it's here. It's on my docket. Let's hear this shit out, because maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Maybe this person, Ken Mello, is going to present this in some way that I'm just not seeing how it can be done. So I'm going to hear him out. But she's still, dude, what do you want me to do? I'm trying to understand why I'm here. I'm trying to understand why I'm here right now talking about this with you.
Come out thus far has certainly been harassing to some of the individuals. As I indicated, the victim who, the last arrest that put Mr. Kearney in the jail, just online this week, indicating, this victim knows I'm innocent. And there have been a number of other elements of harassment. Mind you, this is the same defendant judge that has openly acknowledged in court that he wanted the opportunity to post DCF records about this particular victim in order to humiliate him for no other purpose. So he's still engaged in his campaign, if you will, of harassment and intimidation. And the original order was that came out from the district court in Stoughton. All those cases are now no pros.
What's up, Grandmaster?
The purpose of the order was
Good to see you, buddy.
stop them from directly or indirectly attempting to intimidate people. He's behind bars, Your Honor, and he's just as active as he was when he was in public.
But that's why I asked you at the outset, there is no order like that.
Fucking chaps your ass, doesn't it? There's the truth. He's just as active as he was prior to being incarcerated. Man, that man, doesn't that bloody your Grant's diaper? I mean, dude, come on, bro. Like, this is why we're here. The truth comes out. He's just as active now as he was prior to being in jail. Our efforts to stifle him have backfired.
That in this case now?
No.
Okay. Anything else then before I take this under advisement, Attorney Mello?
Your Honor, we do have the last, and this is in an abundance of caution. I know it's unprecedented. We have paint teams being established.
I know it's
in
unprecedented.
this matter for various telephones and electronic devices that have been taken. Obviously, Your Honor, the purpose of a paint team is to prevent the Commonwealth from viewing anything that would be considered to be attorney-client or otherwise prohibited to the Commonwealth on these devices. One of our concerns, Judge, with that respect is that we need, and this is what's unprecedented, the Commonwealth feels it needs a
look at the judge's face.
Paint team of sorts that works.
They need a taint team. Like, they're barking up the wrong tree. All you got to do is call Cherry. If you want a taint team, Cherry will put together a taint team in a second for you, buddy. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at this, folks.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
Microdots, thank you. Unprecedented Commonwealth fantasy. Absolutely 100%. Oh man, and guys, you all know Microdots. Microdots is fantastic. Can't wait to see what Microdots has cooking.
In the present time, we are so concerned about Mr. Bradle's actual intentions, and the Commonwealth. I apologize, Your Honor, the Commonwealth does not concur with Mr. Bradle's position that it was an accident or an error.
Yeah, it does.
Certainly, that's something that at the very least should have been confirmed. It's not actual intentions. And the Commonwealth, I apologize, Your Honor, the Commonwealth does not concur with Mr. Bradle's position that it was an accident or an error.
We know you don't concur with that shit, bro. We know you don't concur with that because you made this wild accusation. Of course it was an accident. Like, are you kidding? So again, let's get this straight. So, I mean, you dude, if you're going to present this shit to a judge, right? My man, how the fuck are you going to like sit here and say that that was not an accident? Him misspeaking over the phone was not an accident. Stating something that wasn't fact over the phone, which is a very, very small thing, not a big deal, because the effect of it did not turn out to be exactly what you, because not only did you misspeak, I mean, not only did you fuck up your motion, but you fucked up your motion because you stated two things that were that were very important that were not true. One, that he intentionally, you can't prove this. It's your job to prove that Bradle intentionally, which you're failing to do, intentionally lied and said that Jennifer Altman was an attorney. Second, you stated that there were over 60 phone calls that took place that were unmonitored between Jennifer Altman and Turtle Boy. And the truth is, which you corrected yourself, nobody else did but you, Mello. You corrected yourself and said, I'm sorry, but no. There were only 6 phone calls, give or take. You couldn't even give that exact number. You were like, something like 6 phone calls. So, were you lying or did you misspeak in your official court filing, making an accusation, an unprecedented accusation to another attorney, a fellow attorney, a brother in the law? Did you or did you not misspeak? Or did you fucking lie? Which one is it? Because if you're accusing him of lying, well, then it's fair to say that you lied on a court document, on an official court document, on an official motion that serves the purpose of accusing a brother in the law of a crime, which you are failing miserably to prove.
Certainly, that's something that at the very least should have been confirmed. So again, the Commonwealth does not concur that it was an accident. Nonetheless, given the fact that Mr. Bradel made such a move, if you will, to have non-attorneys listed as attorneys, we're concerned that Mr. Bradel's motives may be to play up to the defendant's desire for this publicity that he has, and that if attorney communications with the defendant were unmonitored, Mr. Bradel could use those communications as an opportunity for third parties to be involved, to simply engage in the same.
Bro.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
Exactly, McGruber. Get him. Dude, like, you're sitting here and you're expecting us all to believe. Like, I mean, the only thing that I can think of, and I'm telling you, I can't imagine this dude not being completely and totally fucked after all of this is over. I can't imagine his career not being absolutely down the toilet. Right now, Ken Mello's career is a turd that's just stuck in the toilet. And it's just a question of plunging it, bro. That's all it is, so that it goes down. Right now, all of this Turtle Boy bullshit is the system plunging him. It's actually the DA doing it, because the DA is actually ordering him to do this stuff. And I believe that with all my heart. That's my opinion. I don't have proof of it, but I sure as shit have a pretty good case in presenting this, considering the timeline, considering the timeline of events that have taken place, considering the fact that it was Ken Mello. I'm sorry. Considering the fact that it was Chris Albert who complained to the DA's office. I guarantee you he didn't call Ken Mello directly. I guarantee you he didn't call Ken Mello directly. I guarantee that Chris Albert called the DA's office. And then the DA's office said, Ken Mello, get your sorry ass down there or call these people and get them to violate these people's rights, because your career's already fucked. That shit's not going to go on my name. That shit's not going to tarnish my reputation. We got the feds sniffing up our asses. So we're going to hire this special prosecutor to be our fall guy when we want to do what we feel is necessary dirty shit to shut someone up, so we can effectively prosecute an innocent woman. So I guarantee you that Chris Albert called the DA's office. The DA's office sent Ken Mello's sorry ass to call the Canton PD and have them violate the Canton Nine's rights. And the very same thing happened here, except not exactly Chris Albert. This was the DA's office calling the jail, trying to find out who Turtle Boy's been talking to, and then having the Massachusetts State Police follow up on this information. And then said, you know what? Let's shut Turtle Boy up for good. Well, we can't. I mean, how are we supposed to get away with the feds are already probing our assholes. So how are we supposed to do this? Oh, well, we send the special prosecutor that has nothing to lose at this point because his career's already down the toilet to absolutely unprecedentedly, it's not a word, violate attorney-client privilege and Turtle Boy's First Amendment rights. Because we can't do that. Feds are looking at us too hard. But we could take our special prosecutor who has no actual affiliation to us once we actually hire them to handle this themselves and however they see fit. And they don't have to answer to us. So we'll send Dickhead to do dirty work. So it's not connected to us. It doesn't come back on us. But sorry, it came back on you. Michael Morrissey, pass the gravy. It came back on you. It came back on you because this employee of the sheriff's department sat there on the stand and stated that to a judge that you requested these phone calls and the communication log between Turtle Boy and whoever he was communicating with. And then the Massachusetts State Troopers or agents of the Massachusetts State Troopers called and requested exactly who's listed as an attorney under privileged confidential conversations and who isn't. Because there's no other way. There's no way that somebody who actually gives a shit about their career and their future would do the kind of shit that Ken Mello is doing right here. There's no fucking way.
Types of unmonitored conversations that the jail's rules are intended to prohibit.
I don't know what you are inferring, that Mr. Bradle would put someone else on the phone?
Yes. That's a concern the Commonwealth has, Judge.
All right, so you are asking me to appoint somebody to monitor all communications between the defendant and his counsel in this case.
And only report to the court, not to the Commonwealth, Judge.
And under what authority do you make that request? Or is this entirely an unprecedented request?
Entirely unprecedented, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. I understand what you're asking for. Attorney Bradle?
Yeah. I understand what you're asking me for. Translation, you're asking me to violate, for the first time ever, attorney-client privilege. You're asking me to rob this man of his right to attorney-client privilege. You're asking me to do that. I understand. Mr. Bradle. Wow, dude.
Okay, we don't need to start with...
And the idea that I'm doing something wrong is just so completely offensive to me. I can't even fathom, Your Honor.
Let's focus on my power and authority to do what the Commonwealth is asking me to do.
There's no power to do that, Judge, but I just can't sit here and have counsel level these charges against me without responding. I would never do anything of the sort. I never have done anything of the sort, and there's nothing but complete, utter speculation with respect to what he's saying, that they're worried that I'm going to do something with the calls.
All right, Mr. Bradle, are you the only counsel of record for Mr. Carney in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does he have other counsel in connection with other pending criminal matters?
No, Your Honor.
You are his only lawyer?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to take this all under advisement, but I am going to direct you to day to send a written communication to the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office indicating that you are the only attorney of record for Mr. Carney, and then file with the court an indication that you did so. All right?
Actually, Judge, now that I say that, there may be another attorney who is on the list, Attorney Randazzo. I don't know if he made the list or not, but he's another attorney who speaks with Mr. Carney about First Amendment matters and advises him as well.
And where is he barred?
In Massachusetts, Your Honor.
He's a Massachusetts barred attorney?
Yes.
So
I have to look into it. I don't know. I'm just trying to be absolutely careful about everything that I say.
No, I want counsel of record in his criminal matter.
Thank you, Captain McDonald.
So if
Appreciate
Mr. Or Attorney Randazzo,
Mark Randazza,
if he wishes to be on that list at the Norfolk County jail, he'll have to enter an appearance in this case.
Sure.
So you are to communicate with the jail that you are the only attorney of record for Mr. Carney, and report to the court that you've done so, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
By the end of Monday.
Sure.
By the end of today, actually.
Okay.
Okay? All of the other requests that the Commonwealth is seeking, I will take under advisement, unless there's anything else you want me to understand.
Judge, there's quite a bit more in my motion that I want to bring before the court.
Okay.
With respect to Ms. Altman, Your Honor, I've only spoken to her a couple of times, and she was presented to me at the time as part of this team, and I gave it to the jail about who was what, and what they were going to do was up to them. I'm not responsible for their jail policies. I'm responsible for my client, and I wasn't sure whether people on the team could have those calls or not. So that's why I left it to the jail, and it's all on the voicemail, and there's nothing that was hidden or deceptive about it whatsoever. And after all this came to light, Your Honor, keep in mind, I never knew anything about Ms. Altman being called. I never knew anything about anything until counsel filed this motion. And which leads me to my next point, Your Honor, that I want to ask the court to strike the pleading. The pleading absolutely does not comply with the rules, and it does not have any affidavit, and there's no swearing whatsoever to it. And it was, again, continued here in court, where counsel's making these speculative, insane, unsubstantiated allegations about me and about Mr. Carney and everything else.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Counsel likes to say what I'm aware of, Your Honor, okay? I'd like to tell the court what I'm aware of and what I'm not aware of.
Yeah, there you go.
I had never met Ms. Altman at the time of this, of giving her name to the jail. And the conversations about when she talked to me about what she did and who she was, about her not being an attorney, were much later. And again, I did not equate those conversations with anything that I said to the jail in passing on a voicemail to Captain Linsky. So counsel files this motion, Your Honor, and publishes all of the phone numbers, all the private cell phone numbers.
Here we go.
Of myself, Ms. Healy, and Ms. Altman. And as you can see in the motion, Judge, as a result of counsel for the Commonwealth doxing all of us in this public filing, Ms. Altman receives threatening text messages that absolutely scare the heck out of her and terrorize her, Your Honor. And in that respect, Your Honor, she is absolutely scared and horrified and intimidated. And I've spoken to her personally about that. And she has a copy of all my filings, Your Honor. And here we have this situation, Judge, where in the course of trying to say that I'm doing something wrong, counsel publishes these phone numbers and absolutely exposes Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy and myself to unwanted harassment. And in this case, in fact, as I published in the...
Right. This is absolutely, I mean, how does that not absolutely affect his practice? How does it not absolutely affect his practice? Because he's going to have to change his phone call or his phone number. So he's going to have to change his phone number, and now he's got to contact all of his clients who need his counsel. And Jesus, man, this is terrible.
Filing, Ms. Altman did receive that very night a number of obnoxious, threatening, harassing messages, and I published one of them for you so you can see what she was dealing with. And this is from counsel for the Commonwealth. Lawyers have obligations, Your Honor. Lawyers have obligations to not dox people, first of all, Your Honor, to not publish sensitive private information in pleadings. That was done here, and that is outrageous and that is unprofessional.
Are you asking me to seal? I know it's out in the public realm somewhat now, but are you asking me to do anything in connection with the Commonwealth motion?
Yes, I would ask you, whatever we can do now is to seal it for now, so that at least it's from now on it's sealed and the private information is not public.
All right, we can.
That portion of it.
Any objection to that, Attorney Mello?
Your Honor, I would just ask that the numbers be redacted.
Well, we will impound what has been filed, and if you would provide a copy with the numbers redacted.
What a fucking jackass. Yeah. We would just ask that the numbers be redacted, but I'd like my fucking stupidity to still be out there for the whole world to see. I want everyone to see me do the most unethical and unprecedented shit that any lawyer has ever fucking done, at the very least in the state of Massachusetts, if not the entire country. I just want that to be clear, Your Honor. We just redact the phone numbers, but I want everyone to see my jackassery on the rest of the document. Okay, can we do that, Your Honor? I mean, bro, like, are you kidding me with that shit? Like, Mello, you're killing me, bro. Why do you think that this is somehow? Why do you think that that's a good idea? I don't understand what's going through your mind when you make these decisions.
I'm retarded?
Yep, got it.
That can go on the public docket.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
I find good cause to do so. Attorney Bradel, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, Your Honor, counsel for the Commonwealth has charged Mr. Carney with the exact same conduct categorically as he has done here to me, to Ms. Healy, and to Ms. Altman.
There you go.
I'm not going to go over the factual underpinnings of it, Judge. It's in my motion. But the same exact conduct is charged to Mr. Carney, where he's alleged to have held up a piece of paper on his YouTube show with phone numbers on it, and then called phone numbers, and then mentioned phone numbers on his show. And then that was to one of the troopers on the underlying Karen Reed murder case, Your Honor. And then the charging documents indicate, Your Honor, that Mr. Proctor, the trooper involved, received threatening messages, et cetera, et cetera. And that was the basis in the Stoughton court for a charge of witness intimidation on Mr. Carney. And here, counsel for the Commonwealth has engaged in the exact same behavior with the exact same results that Ms. Altman has received threatening messages.
And that's the basis of your request that I issue an order to show cause regarding refusal.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right.
Counsel now has a personal stake in this case because counsel's committed the exact same, categorically committed the exact same conduct that he's charging my client with. It's just, talk about unprecedented. Mr. Mello likes to talk about what's unprecedented. What's unprecedented is that the prosecutor is engaging in the same criminal conduct that Mr. Carney is alleged to have engaged in.
Yeah.
Counsel for the Commonwealth now has developed a personal stake in this case. Counsel for the Commonwealth is not a disinterested observer, an advocate for the Commonwealth interested in doing justice. Counsel for the Commonwealth has inserted themselves, has wrapped themselves in personally into the allegations in the case.
All right, I understand your argument.
So based on that, Judge, I think I'm not asking right this minute that he be disqualified, but I'm asking that you issue an order to show cause and set up a hearing as to why counsel for the Commonwealth should not be disqualified in this case.
Attorney Mello, how much time do you need to respond to that request?
Which one in particular, Judge?
The request that I issue an order to show cause regarding recusal.
I believe that Mr. Bradel has put 14 days in his motion. I believe he requested some action within 14 days. That asked for the 14 days, Judge. And if I may, Judge, there's a huge distinction.
Well, wait a minute. So you are saying you will file something in response by February 9?
Yes, please.
All right. When I receive that, I'll make a determination about whether I issue an order to show cause and whether we have an evidentiary hearing.
But if I may, Your Honor, the distinction that Mr. Bradel, between the facts and what Mr. Bradel is saying, Mr. Bradel is indicating this was doxed. The reality is...
Hey, make sure you guys click on that link that I just dropped. That's the link to the video that we're streaming right now. That's Unsafe Spaces, Dave's channel, and he streamed this live, and we're going over it. So as a big, as a very, at the very least, a thank you to him. Please click on his channel, click on that video, like it, and subscribe to his channel if you're not already. I would really appreciate it.
The telephone numbers here were absolutely relevant to this matter. This wasn't a gratuitous publication of telephone numbers of individuals.
These telephone numbers are relevant. They're relevant to they're relevant to the situation. How are they relevant? How are the phone numbers themselves relevant? So that you could call them and verify that those are them? So that we could call them and verify that that's really them? How is that shit relevant? Did you just fucking say that shit out loud, dude? Are you kidding me?
Vigilance. This is a publication to the court. This was a filing with the court. It was not an outside filing. It was not in a press release, whatever. It's a filing with the court of the numbers that Mr. Bradel indicated were attorney numbers.
That's a lie, Your Honor. I did not indicate they were attorney numbers.
Don't interrupt. I've read what you indicated. Go ahead.
And Mr. Bradel indicated they were attorney and paralegal numbers, Your Honor. He published that to the jail. Okay? As a matter of our
so why isn't the jail complaining? He published it to the jail. Why isn't the jail complaining? Why are you here doing it?
Absolutely relevant and part of our motion. Had it been a different number, whatever the key motion, they were very relevant. And the motion could not have flown otherwise, Judge.
All right. I appreciate everybody's arguments. I understand everybody's arguments. Let me tell you how I have endorsed what is in front of me at the moment. The Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions has two endorsements. Number one, counsel for Mr. Carney is to inform Norfolk County Jail by the end of day today that he is the only attorney of record for Mr. Carney at this time, and report to the court in writing by close of business Monday, January 29th, that he has done so. Second order on the motion for remedial orders and sanctions. Upon oral request for good cause, paper 4, the Commonwealth's motion, is impounded. Counsel for the Commonwealth to file a redacted copy for the public file. Mr. Bradel's cross motion is endorsed Commonwealth to respond to cross motion on or before February 9, 2024. With respect to the Commonwealth's other requests for relief in the motion for remedial orders and sanctions, I will take those under advisement.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We have a 2/16 date for pretrial conference too. Thank you.
Thank you all. Totally unrelated.
Yeah. Could I have the warrant brought in?
All right. Now, show you guys a little something. I'm going to read you guys a little something. Cherry, thank you for pulling this for me. Oh my God, damn it. Okay. Here it comes. Vivian, thank you so much. Damello sucks free Turtle Boy. Damello sucks free Turtle Boy. DA Mello sucks free Turtle Boy. He's not the DA, he's a special prosecutor, but thank you, Vivian. Appreciate it. Dude, really, bro? Really? Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. Clubber. No, Clubber. Get away from there. Clubber. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come on. Go away from there. Away from there. Okay, fine. Lay down. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Sorry, guys. So here I have not read this, so I'm not going to show it. But this is the affidavit of counsel from Aiden Carney. Now comes undersigned counsel on oath and hereby states, to the best of his knowledge, information, recollection, and belief, I am of age and competent to make this affidavit, all factual, blah, 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 blah. It says here, I am counsel for defendant Aiden Carney in the above manner. When my client was incarcerated at the Norfolk House of Correction on or about December 26, 2023, I was concerned that Commonwealth Counsel Mello would take advantage of the prosecution's ability to obtain recorded phone calls of my client. I wanted to make sure that the phone numbers of the defense team were properly exempted from not monitoring. I know from 31 years of experience in criminal law that mistakes have been made and privileged calls have been disclosed. I do not want that to happen on one of my cases. Here, the investigators against Mr. Carney were also the same investigators on the Karen Reed murder case in Norfolk County. I believe that the investigation of the Reed case was itself under federal investigation by the Boston U.S. Attorney's Office. Based on my knowledge of the investigator behavior in my client's case, I formed the opinion that these investigators were desperate to learn anything they could about the investigation into their behavior by federal prosecutors. I think this desperation is evident and expressed in Commonwealth's counsel's motion. What? Dude, Bradle, bro, you're killing me, homie. I love it. I love it. But wait, there's more. I believe that they would obtain any monitored information of my client, a journalist covering the story, and I wanted to make sure that whatever numbers were permitted to be privileged would indeed remain privileged and that there would be no mistakes. I learned that Captain Linsky was in charge of receiving numbers for the defense team. At the time, Mr. Carney had a civil legal team with a number of people working on the First Amendment aspects of this case. Attorney Elizabeth Dombrowski led counsel, offered me some personnel to assist. I wanted their numbers to be on the privileged calls list as members of the defense team. I believe I traded messages with Captain Stephen Linsky, or maybe briefly spoke to him, giving him phone numbers for new members of our team, giving what I thought was their respective roles for placement on the unmonitored calls list. He was very accommodating, professional, and helpful. He accepted all numbers and designations of personnel. The voicemail on page 5 of the Commonwealth's motion sounds correct, but it is not verified by affidavit. In any event, assuming it is accurate, I am providing a couple more phone numbers to him for inclusion on that privilege list. I provided Miss Altman, who I thought was an attorney. Then I said in the voicemail, Courtney Healy, paralegal, 781, blah, 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 blah. And made sure, and just for the record, I could show this because Bradel did redact this properly because Bradel's not a fucking dickhead. So he redacted this properly. So I'll go ahead and show this here so you guys can see. Captain Linsky left me a voicemail at work December 29th, 2023, which is transcribed accurately here. Counsel, this is Captain Linsky. I have everybody's numbers entered. Your two phone numbers were already. Vivian, thank you so much. Will Cherry, D.A. Clubber. Hey, congratulations, Clubber. You are the YouTube County DA. Thank you so much, Vivian. Phone numbers were already entered in the system at some point in the past. Jennifer's number is entered. Courtney's and the other two I got the other day, Elizabeth and Mark. Everything's entered. Thank you, sir. Bye. The voicemails are proof that there was no intent to deceive anyone. I said Courtney was a paralegal. The Mark referenced in paragraph 13 was our investigator and disclosed as such. These were the team members that were going to be planning strategy with Mr. Carney. I wanted them on the list. The jail allowed Courtney as a paralegal and Mark as an investigator. At some point later, the jail reversed their position and did not allow Mark or Courtney or Jennifer to have such calls. I did not knowingly misrepresent anyone, and I was made clear, it was made clear that I was asking for investigator and paralegal numbers to be included. It is baseless, false, unprofessional, and defamatory that Commonwealth Counsel characterized the above as a conspiracy to circumvent jail rules. I would never do that for a case or client. I was not informed by anyone from the jail or Miss Altman, who I only spoke on the phone with her maybe twice prior to the motion being filed. That she was called and asked if she was an attorney. If Mello, Miss Altman, or the jail had informed me that there was an issue, I would have looked into it and addressed it appropriately. There was no deception here, only an honest mistake. If I'd known if I had known of it, I would have corrected it. It appears to me that Commonwealth Counsel exercised willful ignorance. Hey, Bradel, or sorry, hey, Mello, are you willfully ignorant or?
I'm retarded?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It appears to me that Commonwealth Counsel exercised willful ignorance to use this as ammunition for a character assassination attack on me rather than exercise due diligence and make reasonable inquiry to investigate the situation. Man, I love when attorneys validate my shit. This is exactly what I was saying earlier. Attorney Demborowski has supplied a letter confirming the above, and an accurate copy is filed herewith. To reiterate, at the time, I thought two of the new personnel were paralegals and that Miss Altman was an attorney, but I was mistaken. I never was made aware of the mistake until I saw Mello's motion falsely claiming otherwise. If I had been made aware of it, of course I would have corrected it. Ultimately, it is a distinction without a difference because they allowed the paralegals to put their numbers on the list as well. Kathy McDonald, thank you so much. You can see from the voicemail that I mentioned a paralegal and then mistakenly mentioned Miss Altman as an attorney. No benefit was gained by the mistake. If I said paralegal as applied to Miss Altman, she would have been included, as was Courtney Healy. I am not responsible for jail policies, and my duty to obtain the most secure communications permissible for my client. I did so by asking the jail to put the foregoing numbers in the system, openly identifying each person to the best of my knowledge at the time as lawyers, investigator, and paralegals. No one informed me that non-lawyer defense team members couldn't be on the list. I was not certain of the policies and expected them to apply them as appropriate. There was a number of false statements in Mello's motion. Ms. Altman informed me she spoke with Mr. Carney only about 3 times. Mello falsely alleges she spoke to him over 60 calls. Para 8, motion. Mello states I was, quote unquote, was aware that Jennifer Altman was not and has never been an attorney. Para 7, motion. This is false. Counsel has no window into my thought process or store of knowledge. Had he made the inquiry necessary to support such a statement by calling me, we could have ascertained my mistake. As to the balance of the assertions in paragraph 7, I had no knowledge of Miss Altman's involvement or lack thereof in administering any websites or pages or her involvement with Mr. Carney's journalism. This motion has personally harmed me and triggered negative press coverage without any basis in fact. I believe it has affected my client's right to a fair trial. Timothy J. Bradel on oath do hereby depose and state under the pains and penalties of perjury that the foregoing facts stated and documents proffered are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. Signed on January 26, 2024, under pains and penalties of perjury, meaning this was done today, folks. This was filed today after the fact, after the hearing. Now, let's take a look at something else here. People. Now, for those of you questioning whether or not, now that person who super chatted me earlier today, that's they're not the first person to question Timothy Bradel's abilities as an attorney and being the best choice to represent Turtle Boy because he so happens to still be in jail. But the thing is, though, that right there should rejuvenate, for lack of a better term, your faith in Timothy Bradel as Turtle Boy's attorney. I understand that Turtle Boy is still in jail, but you have to understand that it's probably very difficult to fight against a clearly corrupt district attorney's office. The tricks that they're playing are dirty and underhanded, as he's stating here, and he's stating these things and he's stating them as fact under oath. He's saying, I'm factually stating this under pains and penalties of perjury. I'm stating that this is corruption. So, you have to understand that this has to be a long time coming. And I have to point out real quick. Let me also, I have to read something one more time here, because here the investigators against Mr. Carney were also the same investigators. Hold on here. When my client was incarcerated at the Norfolk House of Corrections, on or about December 26th, I was concerned that the Commonwealth Counsel Mello would take advantage of the prosecution's ability to obtain recorded phone calls of my client. So remember, guys, this is for you. Those of you doubting Bradel, homeboy was playing chess and he's swearing it. He's swearing it under fear of pain and perjury. The pain of perjury. The penalty of perjury. The pain and penalty of perjury. Sorry. Under the pain and penalty, the fear of pain and penalty of perjury, he is stating this is fact. What he's stating here, I'm going to read it one more time. This is fascinating to me because I've never seen this shit in my life and I'm fucking loving it. This dude is saying that on the 26th of December, when Turtle Boy was arrested, when he was put in handcuffs and taken to jail, he anticipated this shit. Bradel saw this coming. He was ready for it. They walked right into his trap. Ken Mello's dumbass, D.A. Morrissey's dumbass, Detective Tully's dumbass walked right into Bradel's trap. Because he's saying, I knew they were going to pull this shit since the 26th of December when he was first arrested. Fascinating. Because he's saying it right here. I was concerned on the 26th that the Commonwealth Counsel Mello would take advantage of the prosecution's ability to obtain recorded phone calls of my client. I wanted to make sure that the phone numbers of the defense team were properly exempted from monitoring. I know from 31 years experience in criminal law that mistakes have been made and privileged calls have been disclosed. I did not want that to happen on one of my cases. He knew they were going to try to figure out what he was saying. He knew they were going to try to monitor all of his calls. He knew it. We're talking about a defense attorney who has already worked for the prosecution in the past. As a matter of fact, he worked for that very prosecutor's office. He worked for that DA's office, the Norfolk County District Attorney's office. Bradel worked for them at one point. Started his private practice as a defense attorney and specialized in First Amendment issues. Specialized in First Amendment issues, people. Homeboy saw this shit coming. And he took steps. And that's what he's saying here. He's like, well, I wanted to get a team together. And I wanted that team to be able to monitor, I wanted to get this team to be able to contact Turtle Boy if I couldn't, members of this team to be able to have unmonitored phone calls so we could strategize. That being that of paralegals and an investigator, which is absolutely his right. It's absolutely Turtle Boy's right. So he was trying to ensure this so they could strategize because they are fighting a monster. They are out. Bradel is out of his weight class. He's a middleweight fighting a heavyweight. And that heavyweight is fighting a bare knuckle fighting match where Bradel's got to wear gloves and he's got to fight in a regulated boxing match against an opponent that doesn't have to play by the rules, that gets to use the rules and weaponize against him. And he knows this. This is what Bradel's dealing with. He's dealing with a corrupt system. He knew this going into this. If you guys remember the 26th, if you remember that day clearly, as I remember that day, I remember the day that Turtle Boy was taken away in handcuffs and we didn't see it. We went over it later. We didn't see it actually happening because it wasn't streamed, but we saw the reaction later and we saw Bradel go, what is going on? We saw him totally flustered, on the verge of tears, because he saw the system being weaponized against his client. And he was heartbroken. He couldn't believe what was happening to his client. And so that very person got a fire in his eyes. That sadness turned into anger. And Bradel ended up doing this, what he's describing in this motion. He was like, I knew I was dealing with some dirty motherfuckers, so I decided to take steps to protect my client from these dirty motherfuckers. So not only has my faith in Bradel never even been altered, not only has my faith in him not been altered, but it's rejuvenated. It's more. Now I have more faith. Now my faith is on fire for this dude. I love this dude. He's not fucking around. This is the not fucking around defense attorney. And I love it. Now this is the motion to strike. Because Bradel's not done, folks. Hold on. There's more. What's up, man? You became a YouTube member, a new member. Welcome to Logic. Appreciate you. Now, if you guys give me 1 second here, because it's going to get better, so don't go anywhere. Okay, sorry about that, folks. So here is the motion to strike Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions response on the merits, cross motion for sanctions, and request for order to show cause why Commonwealth counsel should not be disqualified from the case. People, right here, you are looking at a motion filed by Bradel to get Mello the fuck out of here, to get him off of this case, because what he has engaged in is clear misconduct, clear efforts to weaponize the system to violate Turtle Boy's rights. Now comes undersigned counsel in response to the above referenced Commonwealth's motion and moves for appropriate relief in the form of striking the pleading, entering appropriate findings in support of the complete good faith of undersigned counsel in light of the below response on the merits, appropriate sanctions against the Commonwealth attorney in the form of a written public apology to Miss Jennifer Altman, or a $20,000 donation to the charity of her choice, or an appropriate sanction in the court's discretion. And last, in order to show cause why Commonwealth counsel should not be disqualified from the case. Meaning, now I love this method right here. I love this, Now, again, I'm not an attorney, folks, but what this does is it puts Mello in a position to where now he's going to have to tell a judge why he shouldn't be kicked off of this case. He's not put in a position. Bradle's not put in a position to explain why he should be. Ken Mello is now put in a position to explain why he shouldn't be booted off of this case, which I find incredibly fascinating. I love this shit. I am on fire about this shit. Dude. Because here's the thing about that. The reason why I love this shit is I can't fucking wait to hear Mello. I can't wait to hear this half-assed bullshit, sorry excuse for an attorney with 40 years of nothing to show for. 40 years of nothing to show for. Explain to a judge why he shouldn't be booted off this fucking case. I can't wait. I'm stoked. Object to the tits. Counsel moves to strike the Commonwealth pleading for failure to comply with Massachusetts criminal blah, 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 requiring an affidavit detailing all facts relied upon in support of the motion and signed by a person with personal knowledge of the factual basis of the motion shall be attached. The requirement is not an optional procedural nicety, but rather an important gatekeeping measure that requires an attorney to establish facts through personal knowledge, investigation, and actual evidence rather than speculation and the leveling of reckless and scandalous allegations without consequence. Meaning, you can't just come in here and start throwing accusations at people without proving it, asshole. So now I'm putting you on notice. You have to prove the shit that you said about me. You challenged the integrity of a brother in the law in front of a fucking judge, and I'm offended by it. So now what I'm going to do is put you in a position to where now you have to fucking prove it. Say, prove, show receipts that the shit you said about me is factual. Perhaps if the counsel for the Commonwealth had sat down to comply with required motion practice and write an affidavit, which he never did, he would have reflected and realized that there could be some explanation beyond a sinister plot, and that he could not swear to the things that were flatly alleged in his motion without the accountability of an affidavit. Maybe then he would have made reasonable inquiry and given undersigned counsel notice of the mistake, which would have been handled in good faith, and the court would not need to spend time analyzing the issues needlessly raised. In a case such as this, where counsel for the Commonwealth is seeking to attack defense counsel, leveling scandalous, outrageous accusations, and is asking for insane, there's the word, insane, outlandish remedies, including monitoring of an attorney-client privileged phone calls and $10,000 fines, the need for a sworn affidavit, while always mandatory, is particularly acute. The prosecutor also exercised willful ignorance, retardation, of facts and law by failing to simply reach out to undersigned counsel for an explanation of the situation, instead choosing to forge ahead without evidence and baselessly claim that undersigned and the innocent Miss Altman were in some sort of conspiracy to hide calls so parties could engage in future witness intimidation. This is a blatant failure of the duty to make reasonable inquiry before filing a pleading, a cornerstone of good faith motion practiced by honest lawyers. Unfortunately, this was not the worst of the Commonwealth's counsel's behavior. Here we go. Doxing. In his filing at page 2, paragraph 5, Mello reproduces a voicemail in its entirety, revealing the full and accurate cell phone numbers of undersigned counsel, paralegal Courtney Healy and paralegal Jennifer Altman. Viewed in light of the entirety of Mello's outrageous accusations in the motion, the disclosure can be interpreted to be calculated to cause harm. The author has succeeded in that endeavor. As a result of Attorney Mello's false characterization, as a result of Attorney Mello's false characterizations and unnecessary, willful, and malicious publication of the actual phone numbers, Ms. Altman reports being terrorized last Wednesday evening by several voice messages and text messages from Attorney Mello's revelation of her cell phone number. One representative text supplied by her included here, courtesy of counsel Mello's publication, reads as follows. I have to zoom in. I can't even zoom in on it here. Hey, Jenny, are you lying? Hey, Jenny, you lying scumbag, pretending to be a lawyer, help Turtle Boy, intimidate witnesses from jail, expect cops soon. They were just at Karen's and you're on the list. Sorry, this is in really small print, so I'm trying to read it. Hey, Jenny, you lying scumbag, pretending to be a lawyer to help Turtle Boy, intimidate witnesses from jail, expect cops soon. They were just at Carney's and you're on the list too. Drunken, lying skank. Wow. Goes on to say the falsity of and malice demonstrated by the prosecution caused the harassment and threatening of an innocent woman. As if this coming from Commonwealth Counsel's malicious publication is not enough to shock the conscience, it must also be noted that the same conduct engaged in here by Mello, doxing someone's phone number to the public, resulting in threats and harassment to the victim, is exactly the same type of conduct that the SADA Mello, the special prosecutor Mello, charged Mr. Carney within Stoughton District Court. Let me read that again. Sorry, because I read it bad. And there's a lot of run-on sentences here, because I do that too. A lot of run-on sentences. As if this coming from the come on, damn it, Cherry, don't do it. As if this coming from the Commonwealth Counsel malicious publication is not enough to shock the conscience, it must also be noted that the same conduct engaged in here by Mello, doxing someone's phone number to the public, resulting in threats and harassment to the victim, is exactly the same type of conduct that Mello charged Mr. Carney with in the Stoughton District Court. There, he alleged that Mr. Carney committed felony witness intimidation upon Trooper Michael Proctor by showing and calling his phone number live on air. Now, he also proved by doing that, this needs to be noted here. This needs to be noted. He also proved by doing that Proctor was in direct communication with Jennifer McCabe the very morning of January 29th, 2022. So don't want to overlook that. On June 13th, 2023, Carney broadcast a live YouTube video, episode 590, which currently posted on his YouTube page. During the broadcast, Carney displayed phone records of Jennifer McCabe from the day O'Keefe was killed. The records displayed names. Oh, see, he's saying exactly what I just said. During the broadcast, Carney displayed phone numbers of Jennifer McCabe from the day O'Keefe was killed. The records displayed names next to the phone number, which appears to be the user of the other phone number. These records had previously been an attachment to an unredacted defense motion filed in the Commonwealth versus Reed. During the video broadcast, Carney cold calls the phone numbers without names associated. In this process, Carney called a work cell phone of Trooper Proctor. Proctor stated the phone number that made the call. or made the Cal sick was blah, 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 blah. Carney left the following voicemail. Hi, Trooper Proctor. This is award-winning journalist Aiden Carney calling. I'm calling to talk to you. I do have some questions about you. I have a lot of questions, actually. For starters, why didn't you tell me, one, before doing the investigation, that you were good friends with the Albert family? Why did you, in your report, say that you were introduced to Chris Albert? Why did you, in your report, say that you were introduced to Chris Albert on February 10th when you have known him for more than a decade prior to that? Why did you lie about the time that you towed Karen Reed's car? Why did you intentionally misspell the names of several key witnesses in your report? And, I'm just wondering about all of those things, and maybe you and I can meet up for a coffee. Boy, do I have a lot of questions for you. When you were inside Fairview Road that night, 34 Fairview Road that night, or nothing, or the morning after, rather, why did you stay there for 4.5 hours? And what did you guys talk about and do? And why were you descending stairs with John O'Keefe's phone in your pocket? So give me a call back, man. We feel like you and I have a lot of catching up to do. I talk about you a lot. I feel like I know you pretty well at this point. I know which year you graduated from the academy. I know you were out in West Brookfield for a while. I know some people that you know. So give me a call back when you get this. Now that I have your phone number, and everybody's watching also has your phone number, which again is blah, 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 blah. So I'd like to know, she called you again. She called her at 12:49. We're going to get that. So now I have your number. I'm going to plug you in, and we'll talk soon. Bye. As a result of the cell phone number being broadcasted, Trooper Proctor began to receive random and harassing text messages and voicemails. In the 12 hours following Carney's calls, Trooper Proctor received approximately a dozen text messages, phone calls, and voicemails. The content of the calls and messages pertained Trooper Proctor's alleged involvement in the conspiracy and called for his termination. Trooper Proctor had to change his work cell phone number to avoid the constant unwanted calls and messages. End of charging documents. Now, that's not Bradle saying that. He's just reading that part of Turtle Boy's charging documents, which we went over in those 5 different live streams that I did that it took to disprove the bullshit all over those charging documents. Goes on to say the foregoing alleged conduct was the basis for a charge of witness intimidation against Mr. Carney in Stoughton Court, and presumably carried over here into Norfolk Superior Court, where one of the indictments again lists Proctor as a victim. There is no substantive distinction between the conduct and Mr. Mello's intentional publication of Miss Altman's information, which can only be presumed to be in retaliation for what he perceives falsely and farcically, I guess, to be her conspiracies against his prosecution. There is literally probable cause to believe under Commonwealth Counsel's own usage of the witness intimidation statute that he committed witness intimidation against everyone referenced in the voicemail by publishing the private phone numbers. As a result of this conduct, there is now an unprecedented circus of prosecution before the court, where the special assistant prosecutor has now engaged in the very same doxing conduct against members of the Carney defense team that he alleged constitutes felonious witness intimidation when committed by Mr. Carney. History repeats itself, first as tragedy, second as farce, according to Karl Marx. Attorney Mello has created a farce. He should be, I hate that he quoted Karl Marx, but okay. Attorney Mello has created a farce. He should be required to either publicly apologize in writing to Miss Altman or donate $20,000 to the charity of her choice, or such other sanction as the court may impose. Request for order to show cause. Here's we go. Here's my favorite part, folks. Let me revel in this for a second. Let me just enjoy Oh man, folks, this is the this is it. This is the request for order to show cause. Cause as to why Mello should not be recused from this case. Why he should not be booted the fuck out before this case. Are you ready, folks? Are you ready?
Popped right there. Oh, you popped. You're gonna be famous. Wait, here it is. Here it is. Stop. This is
Okay. Counsel Mello has personally wrapped himself up in this case by committing witness intimidation by his own measure against the defense team. He has a personal stake in this prosecution where he must win the case at all costs to quash scrutiny of his actions. It is well understood that the duty of the district attorney is not merely to secure convictions. It is his duty to secure them with due regard to the constitutional and other rights of the defendant. Smith versus Commonwealth. A prosecutor is the representative not of an ordinary party to a controversy, but of a sovereignty whose obligation to govern impartially is as compelling as its obligation to govern at all. And whose interest, therefore, in criminal prosecution is not that it shall win a case, but that justice shall be done. Those constitutional and other rights of the defendant include obligations imposed on the district attorney by the Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct. Counsel respectfully asks that the court to reschedule a hearing within a reasonable time with briefs due at 14 days prior, at which time Counsel Mello should be required to show some cause why he should not be disqualified from the prosecution of the matter. Response on the merits. Without waiving his procedural obligations herein, undersigned counsel provides his response on the merits in the attached affidavit. Wherever Mr. Carney asks for the foregoing relief, for such other reliefs as court deems proper. Dated 1/26/24. And it is respectfully submitted by Aidan Carney and his attorney, Timothy Bradel. There you go, folks. There you go. I mean, people. What else do you need? What else do you expect Bradel to do? Bradel is going after the corruption by the jugular. He is cutting the corruption's throat. This is what he was hired to do. He is playing chess, not checkers. As he stated prior in the affidavit prior, in that motion that he filed prior to the one that we just read, in that motion, he states that he saw this coming, that he knew that these assholes were going to try to monitor his phone calls to try to find out, and this is what he's stating. Bradel is accusing, and I believe rightfully so, of trying to find out what the feds know via desperation. Because of their desperation, they decided, because of their desperation and not knowing anything and not getting any answers into the federal investigation into the Norfolk County DA's office, they figured that they could get these answers through Turtle Boy. And what they're doing also is they seized Karen Reed's phones. So they think that the Commonwealth suspects the Norfolk County DA's office and the Massachusetts state troopers suspect that Turtle Boy and Karen Reed have been questioned by the feds, and they want to know if they want to know what questions the federal the Department of Justice have asked them. That's what they're looking for. They're fishing because there's nothing to actually indicate that this is the case. They don't really know. They're just so desperate to find out what the feds are asking for and what they're inquiring about that they're looking at Turtle Boy's phones, trying to monitor his calls because they think that the feds are, if not working with Turtle Boy and Karen Reed, they think that they've inquired certain things to them and they want to know what it is. Desperation, pure desperation. Because it can't be a coincidence that it was Mello who had Karen Reed's 2 phones seized yesterday. It cannot be a coincidence. So this is how desperate they've become. I mean, people, there's a Scorsese movie. There's a Scorsese movie written all over this. I mean, I could just see it happening. This is the nastiest shit I have ever seen happen in real time as far as corruption. I've never even seen it. I've never seen corruption happen in real time. Clever, come here. Give me that, please. Can you hand that to me, please? No? Okay. Well, then can you stop making noise with it? That would be awesome. I would really appreciate it. Good boy. He doesn't care. But that's okay. I'm about to wrap this up anyway. I mean, there you have it. Bradel is flat out stating that this is what they're doing. So those of you who don't think that the Turtle Boy case and the Karen Reed case are not directly connected, look again. Look again. But anyways, guys, I mean, people, what else is there to say? Now we just got to wait. But guys, I love you very much, and I appreciate you all joining me tonight. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you guys liking this stream. Please make sure to like it. Please make sure to also, on your way out, like the stream that I just shared the link to. Big shout out to Dave from Unsafe Spaces. I appreciate you for streaming that hearing, and that I could stream it and share it with my audience as well. It means a lot. So please make sure to like this stream, and please make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And again, big thank you to you guys. I am starving and I gotta eat, folks. I love you guys very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.